604 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. JP producing. Got a super busy show today. Crazily enough, yesterday, we're talking about the president saying pregnant women shouldn't take Tylenol. And I threw it out there. I said, wait a minute. And we had Dr. Cassidy in, and I was like, this is not a question for you. You're a doctor, not a lawyer. Can Tylenol sue over this? Because he didn't say acetaminophen. He didn't say what the drug was. He said Tylenol as a name brand. And then I hop on Facebook, and sure enough, one Franz Borghardt says Tylenol might have cause.
Well, what I said was, does Tylenol have cause? Asking for a friend.
Right.
It was almost like you and I are symbiotically linked across long distances.
A little bit spooky. It was a little bit spooky.
I will endeavor today
to
not be political.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I get a little.
Well, yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I'm going to just be legal today, not political.
Okay. All right. We're starting you off at 76 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We got a busy show. We got Franz on with us. We're going to talk about the Tangipahoa River. Dr. John Doering is an environmental scientist and an assistant professor at LSU. He's going to join us at 7:15. We got Will Green from LABI. We've got Jenn Racca's going to be in the house. So will Mason Batts. The folks from NeuroJust are going to be here. We're stacked up. We're ready to roll. Let's hit it. Top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Hate to see this. Let's take you over to Pass Christian, Mississippi. Officials say 2 people died. No passengers were hurt as the Amtrak train, the Mardi Gras line, it got involved in a crash with a vehicle in Pass Christian last night. Amtrak released a statement saying the crash happened around 7:08 p.m. Around 7:08? That sounds pretty specific. The crash happened at 7:08 p.m. None of the 97 passengers on the train were injured. This according to the Biloxi Sun-Herald. 2 people in the vehicle that was struck, they both died.
Number 4.
Next month, Charlie Kirk's National College Tour will make a stop in Baton Rouge. You had this one for us yesterday, JP. You had the jump on this.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Turning Point Tour. We'll host an event at the Raising Cane's River Center Theater on Monday, October 27th. Governor Jeff Landry and conservative commentator Allie Beth Stuckey will be in attendance, along with a collection of prominent conservatives who are stepping in to serve as featured guests.
Number 3.
An autopsy for recently released Elaine Hunt inmate Traylon DeVille says he died of heat exposure. DeVille, who had a diagnosed mental health condition, was supposed to be released to a Baton Rouge group home, but was found lying in the road more than 80 miles away less than 24 hours after his release. The autopsy report said he had no drugs in his system other than the medication he was prescribed for his condition.
Number 2.
Louisiana will complete a major overhaul of its Natural Resources Agency on October 1st, when the Department of Energy and Natural Resources officially becomes the Department of Conservation and Energy. The change, authorized by Act 458 of the last legislative session, restructures the agency's 4 offices into 6 new divisions focused on permitting, enforcement, leasing, planning, and administration.
Number 1.
A federal judge presiding over the Middle District of Louisiana ruled Monday the city of Baton Rouge and Scott Wilson, in his official capacity as mayor pro tem, violated 2 citizens' First Amendment rights by not allowing them to speak about the death of Alton Sterling in a Metro Council meeting. This was back in 2017. The 2 people in question here were Eugene Collins and Michael McClanahan. Both Collins at the time was Director of Prevention and HIV/STD Clinical Services with the Heart Clinic. McClanahan was the NAACP Baton Rouge branch president. They tried to speak about the death of Alton Sterling during a Metro Council meeting, and as things transpired, they were actually ejected from the room for their efforts.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was back on last night, though not all of his affiliates carried the show.
You didn't get raptured?
Oh, that's true. We're still here, guys.
Yeah, we're still here.
Everybody check on Kirk Cameron.
So
he's still here, though.
We did not check on Kirk Cameron. Probably need to. Here's the thing. Did you watch Kimmel last night?
No.
I did not either. But it's all about the affiliates, though, man.
Yes.
If you've got a national show with no one carrying it, then what do you really have?
He apologized. Got teary-eyed and apologized.
I love when an actor gets teary-eyed.
Oh, right. Is he really that much of an actor?
No, he's terrible. But
is Ziggy Gazaki.
Yeah, nearly 40 ABC stations owned by Sinclair Incorporated have refused to air it.
Yeah.
Refused. I mean, just, wow.
Not to get political, because, I'm not doing that today.
Whoa.
I'm a little surprised he willfully came back.
Really?
There was a part of me that thought he was going to be like, no, I'm good.
I don't know.
Like, he's financially, he's good.
Who's the sidekick? Who's his, come on.
Minion?
Guillermo.
Guillermo. That's who he did it for.
Yeah.
Guillermo.
He did it for Guillermo.
Okay.
No, some people need that ego fed. They can't be away from a camera.
So his convictions are real.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying they aren't. I'm saying I take it all with a grain of salt. What did Marvin Gaye tell us? Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Let me be very clear. I believe that the court gesture should have the ability to say whatever he wants in a comedic way, although it wasn't really funny, and the king shouldn't kill him.
King didn't kill him.
Right. Just the networks.
No, that's what I'm saying. The king didn't kill him. Everybody was saying, well, Donald Trump got him canceled. Donald Trump got him canceled. He got suspended. He served his suspension. He came back on, and then he called the whole thing un-American. Freedom of speech means you don't go to jail for your talk, for speaking out against the government. It has nothing to do. Look,
it could have a little bit to do with financial. Well, you just literally talked about a Metro Council meeting where a bunch of guys are about to get paid because some freedom of speech rights were violated. There's some money in there.
Oh yeah,
on the back end.
But that was directly at a Metro Council meeting. That was for a topic that was on the agenda, if I'm recalling right.
Right decision, but he had look, guys. There is no First Amendment right. I'm sorry, I know people disagree with me on this point. ABC is not a government actor, and if an employer or private business says, "Hey, I don't want you saying that kind of stuff on air," you're fired.
Right.
Then guess what? That's it.
Yeah.
We joked about the musical guest. It was Sarah McLachlan. If anyone was wondering.
You're kidding.
No, she performed a song, Better Broken.
Okay.
Anyway, so Donald Trump is pivoting on Ukraine. Now he says they can regain all the territory they lost. So
I'm confused.
Isn't that going to make the war longer?
One would think. So
okay.
What's his goals here?
What's going
on here?
I don't know. Well, okay, it's twofold, right? On the one hand, not really acting like Vladimir Putin's puppet, like everybody says he is.
Well, there you go.
I mean, your puppet doesn't go out and take land back from you, or say that you're going to have land taken back from you.
Yeah.
But so that's on the one side. On the flip side, I thought we were supposed to be out of this war on day one, and he needs to learn to stop promising things that does not have the control over to deliver. But that's seems to be where it's at.
Yeah, and keeping it with Trump, Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump on Trump's West Palm Beach golf course last year, was found guilty of all 5 counts on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, and when he was convicted, he attempted to stab himself in the neck with a pin. Did you see this?
Like Joe Pesci in Casino?
Yeah, he tried. Yeah.
2 botched kills.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
2 botched kills.
That guy is terrible at killing people.
That's why we're going to put him away, because he's not good at it. He's probably the safest person to be walking the streets right now.
Probably is. It's 6:12 at Talk 107.3 FM, about to roll over to 6:13. Quick break. We come back. LSU football. Heavy in the transfer portal this year. We'll talk about it next. 50 or top of the hour?
50.
Okay.
I apologize.
Don't apologize.
I'm really... It's okay. I've been doing this for how long, and I don't know how to use microphone. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I saw your girl's 3-pointer. Perfect video placement. Proud dad moment.
I didn't video it.
Okay. Proud dad moment.
Oh. Yes, but go back and look at it. Thank God there's no replay. In 8th grade girls basketball, her foot was on the line. It was a 2.
Oh.
They counted it as a 3.
We're just going to keep that. Dad, we're just going to keep that one to ourselves and not ruin the moment.
And we still lost by 5.
That's okay.
I look over at Steven Sanchez. The good doctor was the one keeping score on the Game Changer app. I said, Steven, You putting that down the way they called it, or you putting it down the way it was? He goes, her foot was on the line, but they called it a 3, so it's a 3 in the books. Her foot was on the line.
But still, see, I said the same thing.
It was a
yesterday.
beautiful
I was like,
shot.
3
It
point?
was a
Like,
beautiful shot.
It was.
That's awesome.
And then after she shoots it, she immediately turns back on D and runs down the. That was the. I was like,
Nice.
it's like this girl. It's like this girl's been trained.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Dad, don't hurt yourself, Ruth's daughter Sarah screamed as the bailiffs struggled to restrain Ruth and rushed him out of the courtroom. So, yeah. Man, talk about a scene, huh?
They're already moving because
Back on defense. There's 3 girls under the basket if you do miss.
Who's
Back on
coaching that
defense.
team? Who's coaching that team?
How long have you had LSU basketball tickets?
Oh, wow.
Jalen Cherry
Oh,
and Raquel Spencer,
cool.
a.k.a. Queen. And the impact that these 2 women are having on these girls is beyond amazing.
Is this a school league or
It's
is
Mercy's
it?
team.
Oh, okay.
I did not want to step aside. Obviously, Steven didn't want. Hightower didn't want to step aside either.
Change is good.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to change it up.
Yes. But I'm the first one to tell you that they're okay. So they're learning from college athletes, pro athletes actually, because Jalen played pro ball for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also learning from independent young women.
That's a good thing.
And of course, culturally, there's differences that they're picking up on as well, and learning that it doesn't define anybody. Anyway, 617 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're going to have Legally Serve with attorney Franz Borghardt coming up in just a little bit. We're going to talk Tylenol, but we're going to talk a couple of other things as well. We will dive into that in our next segment. Before we get to sports, I want to remind you about 5-Star Printing and Signs, 271-4096, 271-4096. Take a look around. Well, it's 618. You're probably not at your office just yet. But when you get in the office, take a look around. Any signage that you've got, any printed materials you've got, is it something that is remarkable, as in to be remarked upon? Is it something that catches your eye? Is it something that moves the needle? Is it something that if you were a potential customer, it would grab you? It might be time for a refresh. Just a quick little update. And Danny and his team over at 5-Star Printing and Signs, that's exactly what they do. Give them a call, 271-4096. Don't commit to anything. Just collaborate with him a little bit. Explore the space. He'll take you there. He will. 271-4096. By the way, when it comes to merch, when it comes to branding, you know it's unbelievably important right now. Whether you are a restaurant, whether you are the Borghardt Law Firm, or whatever it is you're doing, if your brand isn't front and center, if you're not top of mind, you're out of sight, out of mind, or out of sight. Yeah. Printshop5.com on that front. All right, LSU. They hit the transfer portal pretty hard in the offseason. Defensively, it's showing right now. Mansour Delane's out there. A.J. Halsey's out there. Lane Kiffin talked about Brian Kelly's aggressiveness in the portal. It said when it comes to rebuilding DBU, that's exactly what they did.
They've heavily financially invested into the portal and made that decision. That's no secret. Coach Kelly's talked about that, how much money they've spent, and it shows. Those are 3 guys that were heavily recruited and probably the 3 most expensive portal DBs in the market, and they got them all. So they did a great job with that, and now they're coaching them really well, and they're playing great.
Meanwhile, on the offensive side of the football, quarterback Garrett Nussmeier is coming off of his best game of the season, and I think we're all starting to see that whatever injury was ailing him early on in the season, he's getting on the right side of that by now. Kiffin says Nussmeier, he has an elite pocket presence and really saved LSU last time out against Ole Miss.
Nussmeier does a great job of getting out of trouble and really quick feet and moving around, and saved the game last year. Perkins has him to go to 4th and 24 or something, and he gets out of that. That probably would have ended the game. So he did a phenomenal job saving that game last year. Really great, savvy player.
We've got an earlier kickoff on this one. LSU will kick off at 2:45. It's 2:30 window, so they'll kick off at 2:45. Rewind the clock by 2 hours for the network pregame to start. 2 more hours on top of that for Eagle 98.1's game day. So that's coming up on Saturday. Right now, here's the Fox Business Report. There's Stu and Ronnie. So I'm introducing Mary at the Rotary Club today. So I don't know if I'm skipping news or not.
I actually had lunch at Drusilla's Seafood yesterday for a separate event, and it was like order off the menu kind of stuff. And I have not eaten there in quite some time.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I'm going to stop sleeping on Drusilla's Seafood. They've got a really good, really good, like, thing going on. Like, okay.
We're about to get this. So
How do I tighten this to where it stops doing what it's doing?
you can't. You have to adjust it upward and let it drop down a little bit, just so it. There you go.
Okay.
Now let it like catch a
Just go with it. Just go.
catch a half limp on you. Just kind of.
Explore the microphone. Stop. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, Drusilla Seafood.
I'm at Drusilla so many times for events that I forget.
You don't.
You don't want to go there as a restaurant. 'Cause it's like I'm always at Drusilla, but you're never ordering off the menu. Like the stuff they do at Rotary, it's
good.
new and invented. Every single time out, it's
Good
awesome.
food. Yeah.
And I'm like 80% of my plate is salad.
So for Foodie Fridays,
you know,
I got to tell you, I had this conversation, and I used to dabble in the food world. Hashtag Go Rouge. Dabbled. Seafood is kind of a weird thing here. If you're not bringing something strong, there's a wide market of you getting a good seafood plate, whether it's Parans, Chimes, whether it's Drusilla Seafood, whether it's, you name the place, Cecilia. I mean, there's good seafood spots all over town.
yeah,
Ralph and Cacoo's.
gone.
Is it gone?
Yes,
Oh.
bro. That building's been gone for
Do
over
we still
a
have Mike
year now.
Anderson's?
Yes.
Okay.
Ralph and Cacoo's was my favorite. Oh, shoot. Let's start you off on the interstate. There's no real surprises in today's in this installment of our traffic reports. You've got the normal delays on 12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish. It stacks up a little bit. The volume gets heavy around Range Avenue, picks back up again once you're across the Amite River, and then slows back down again once you get closer to, where is that? That is around Sherwood, and then all the way up to the 10-12 merge. Meanwhile, I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish is its normal awesome. Things are moving right along there. 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish looks great, as well as does I-110. Hopping off the interstate to get a look at the surface streets, there are 2 accidents being reported right now. One, the sheriff's office is working. That would be Millerville at Deer Ridge, or Millerville right near. That can't be right. It says Millerville at Flannery. Oh, I guess that's, that's where Flannery pops back up. It's right across from Office Depot. That's right across from Office Depot. Okay. That's being worked right now. And then South Harrell's BRPD's on this one. South Harrell's Ferry at North Manchester is another accident that was reported about 10 minutes ago. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. I can't not do it. What's up, clones? Greetings. It's Jim Rome's intro, man. Made me steal Romy's stuff.
No, man.
Iggy but
Pop.
I understand that. But for 30 plus years now, it's like My City Was Gone belongs to Rush Limbaugh.
I know.
I stole the Sopranos theme. Doesn't belong to me, but I stole the Sopranos.
I love my intro.
You love your intro? I tell you what. I tell you what. We'll go ahead and take requests.
Yeah. My point is, as much as I love my intro, if you did Motley Crue, like Looks That Kill, I'd be on board with that.
Okay.
How much does that cost to get that done? Like to buy the license to use that for a bump or whatever?
Oh, we have the license for everything. It's ASCAP and BMI. Those are the two companies.
Okay.
You pay the company a flat fee. We have 4 radio stations.
You just blew my. I'm just
There
like,
is no song we're not allowed to play on air.
Okay, but to make it into an intro.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks That Kill. Motley Crue.
Don't take Tylenol, Franz. Tylenol's bad. Tylenol.
I was sitting on my couch the other day thinking, man, I'm grateful. Thank you, God, that I cannot get pregnant. I'm not to offend any LGBTQ people.
Men can't get pregnant. It's fine.
Can't get pregnant and rear a child, pun intended. So I don't need to worry about Tylenol.
Right.
I can take as much Tylenol as I want. It's not like I'm going to get more autistic. I'm just saying. So
let's rewind the clock. A couple days ago,
huge announcement. Huge.
It was a huge announcement. The president and RFK came out and said Tylenol may be linked to taking Tylenol while pregnant may have links to autism. So highly, very, very strongly recommended you don't take Tylenol while pregnant.
Suck it up, women. Suck it up.
Here's the thing, though. Running a fever while pregnant
that can be dangerous. That can be dangerous.
And acetaminophen is a fever reducer.
So I'm going to, unlike my normal shenanigans, I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with a disclaimer that I literally know nothing about being a pregnant woman and what it's like, the trials and tribulations of being pregnant. I don't know. Franz Borghardt knows nothing about that. Never reared a child.
Right.
Here's the thing. The first legal question is, one, can a president be liable for saying something that damages a private business in his official capacity as president? Number two, why do you have to say Tylenol?
That's one of my big ones.
Had he not said Tylenol, regardless of how you feel about Tylenol and taking it as a pregnant person, woman, regardless of how you feel about vaccines, because that was part of the conversation too. They kind of slid in vaccines. Kids take too many shots. Regardless of all that, if he doesn't say Tylenol, it's a totally different conversation.
Right.
Even though the major producer of what he was talking about is Tylenol.
Right.
So number one, can a president be held liable civilly for the shenanigans, the tortious actions he or she does? See what I did there? He or she does. Supreme Court spoken on this. I did some deep diving on this. Supreme Court has spoken on this. For stuff you do while officially president,
right?
Not so much. Going back to Nixon, not so much.
Okay.
For stuff you did before you were president, Paula Jones, Clinton, you can be held liable.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know that we've seen a president come out and say, don't take a particular product from a particular
this company. This company.
Right. That to me is everything. He didn't say acetaminophen.
No.
When they talk about not taking vaccines, he doesn't come out and say, avoid Merck and Company, avoid GlaxoSmithKline.
Well, and
he didn't say like that. He just says the vaccine itself, not the company that makes it. In this particular instance, and Tylenol is to acetaminophen what Coke is to cola.
So here's the bigger picture. And I'm like President Trump, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I should stay in my lane. I often get out of my lane. I like to drive all over the place. Here's the thing. Didn't really talk about genetics. And I think that there's been studies that show that autism can be tied to genetics.
Most of the studies say 60 to 90% of the causes of autism are within the genetic lines.
I mean, That's pretty significant,
Mhm.
60 to 90%.
Yep.
Even that gap, 30% gap, pretty significant. And he can always pivot and say, well, I mean, Brian and Franz, you can take as much Tylenol as you want. I mean, you're not going to get autistic. There was no point in his conversation, his dialogue, his monologue, where he said, everybody stop taking it. It was
that doesn't
specifically pregnant women.
Right. And that doesn't matter, though, for a couple of different reasons. The first of which is he did say it. He did tell a percentage of the market not to take it. And the second part of this is when you don't say acetaminophen, Franz, when you go into, like, let's say Walgreens, okay? When you go into Walgreens and you look at the pain relief aisle right there, there's Tylenol and there's a bunch of acetaminophen.
Yeah.
And if a pregnant woman, like, let's say, you know what, we got to pause. News is coming up. We're going to pick this up, like the unintended consequences when we come back.
So you know what I think it is? And Troy, shout out to Troy. I think he's right. He probably has difficulty, like myself. This is not a bashing of Trump, President Trump. Acetaminophen is something that doesn't roll off my tongue well. And Tylenol's just easier. It was probably entirely not I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't, I'm targeting Tylenol. It's probably just has difficulty saying that word.
Acetaminophen?
Yeah, acetaminophen.
It's not a hard word to say.
It's a hard word to say.
And I don't care how hard it is to say.
If he says acetaminophen products such as, see, now I can't say it.
No, I think you intentionally missaid it.
So here's the thing.
It's not like when Abby tries to say Vietnamese and says Vietnamese.
It's good food, Vietnamese. Put some Vietnamese in my mouth. Here's the thing. If he would have said products like Tylenol, name for me another company that produces a pain relief, fever relief medicine that has that substance in it. It's not
the
Advil.
Generics.
Yeah, but
all the
that's
generic,
not naming me another one. You said generics.
I know, because you have to remain generic. You have to remain wide angle. If you say, when you go to Walgreens and you look down the pan, this is where I'm going when we come back. When you go, unintended consequences, so I don't forget when we come back.
Write down.
Yeah.
I like it when you write stuff down.
When you go into Walgreens, you walk down that pain relief aisle, you'll see all the Tylenol, and then to the left of that Tylenol, you'll see a bunch of acetaminophen that has no name brand on it, and it will say same product as Tylenol underneath it.
Safer bet for him, and again, I'm not trying to be political, is the safer bet for him to just let RFK do the talking on this?
100%, and then leave them hung out to dry.
I ain't a doctor. You know, if he would have looked at my Surgeon General. Is RFK the Surgeon General? He's the Surgeon General.
Well, he's the head of Health and Human Services.
Right. Don't drink Coke. Whoa. Are you saying no RC Cola? Or are you saying...
That's my point.
Shout out to Debbie. Debbie helped you out there.
Thank you, Debbie. Well, because I went through all this with Senator Cassidy yesterday. I was like,
Cassidy's response, by the way, was intelligent and smart, like a doctor.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to see the studies.
Right.
I'm oversimplifying Senator Cassidy, but I mean, that's essentially was his position, wasn't it?
Correlation does not equal causation.
Right. Man, oh man, I was reading about all the stuff that can go wrong during pregnancy, like with fevers.
Yeah.
And like, it's my understanding that Tylenol is like one of the few things, acetaminophen, is one of the few things you can take as a woman while pregnant.
Yeah.
I don't know what men can take while they're pregnant, but sorry. I can't help myself. These jokes write themselves. Oh, can you imagine how bitchy
Good morning,
I would
Christy.
be?
Welcome in, sweetheart.
Can you imagine how bitchy I would be if I was pregnant? Oh, if I'm hard to deal with now, if Franz Borghardt's hard to deal with now. What was the name of that movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger got pregnant? Junior. A reunion between him and Danny DeVito, the likes of which we hadn't seen since Twins.
Twins was amazing.
More than Conan?
Yes.
More than
in
Total
his book,
Recall?
he says that his two highest grossing movies were Kindergarten Cop and Twins. That's what he said. He literally had it in his
The
book.
most
There's
unaction.
no freaking way.
Well, that's what
Terminator
I was thinking.
2 was
no Conan, no Predator, no
Terminator.
Terminator.
Terminator was still underground. Terminator 2 was the smash.
That's what he says, just according to him. I was like, okay, all right. Yeah, because like his whole team was like railing against it, like, don't do this movie. This is career suicide. This
It was
is it. And then
was
it
a wonderful
becomes, like,
movie.
Yeah. That was wild.
He's got good comedic timing.
He
He
does.
does. His show on Netflix, Fubar. You ever watched it?
No.
It's good. It's
Binge
really good.
binge worthy?
I think so.
Yeah.
The first season was. I only watched 2 episodes of the season 2, but it's good. I enjoy it.
Troy writes, any difference when Bloomberg outlawed big gulps in New York? That was an all-out ban. Well, that's mostly ice, Troy. Come on. Big gulps are all ice.
Okay, but no, what got and that wasn't about product, that was about size. If they were saying
yeah, it was.
don't take 8 Tylenols at once, just take 2, like that's a different thing altogether.
I still take Tylenol. I love me some Tylenol PM. Is like blasting off.
Mine's ibuprofen. That's my
I like me
go-to.
some generic Advil too.
3 ibuprofen, dude, knocks it out. Knocks out a good headache.
I take way too much ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
I mean, you take it at a time. I take 3 at a time.
about 3 or 4.
4.
And that takes care of business.
Yeah, it does.
4,
It really
and then
does.
I'll take 4 more when I wake back up again because the headache's still there.
Mm.
Probably shouldn't have had that second glass of Tito's.
Tito's.
Love Tito's.
There you go.
I agree.
637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We have 13 minutes remaining with attorney Franz Borghardt for Legally Served because you got to get over to Court TV this morning.
Unintended consequences.
We're going there. We're going there in just a second. Do you know what you're talking about on Court TV yet? Or
A little bit of everything. Although the bump music for this portion was Motley Crue. Fun fact: the last time I was on Court TV, I did no less than 5 Motley Crue references.
Oh, wow.
In a span of an hour. And if you know Motley Crue, you caught every single one of them.
Awesome.
It was between lyrics and song titles that I would slip in.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was beautiful. And
as-
surprisingly,
as
they're
the-
having me back on today.
As the resume grows, you see, you never know when you're going to cross the line and the phone's going to stop ringing.
So last thing before we jump into the conversation,
Yeah.
I was on Nancy Grace, shout out Nancy,
Yeah.
who actually follows Twitter and like reshares tweets and all that. And like, dude, I was on Nancy Grace and we were discussing something about the FBI director. And I'm not sure if she said he needs to shut his pie hole or that I need to shut my pie hole. And I can't tell you the last time I've had a woman tell me to shut my pie hole like Nancy Grace.
Well, because we're in studio and you can't see
I
what
can't
happens on
say
the other end of the speaker.
I can't.
I guarantee you it's every Wednesday morning somewhere along the way. Someone listening to the show is like, he needs to shut his pie hole.
That's it. Shut your pie hole.
Yep. All right. Unintended consequences is where we're going. And I need to set the table with this one because I feel like this is where the president may have gotten himself in some potential trouble here. Tylenol contains acetaminophen, and acetaminophen is what they're linking back to. What they are linking back to potential causes.
There
of
are
autism
studies. There are some studies
that have correlation, not causation.
Right.
It's important to remember correlation does not equal causation. But the president said Tylenol repeatedly. So if I were a pregnant woman and I were in need of pain relief or a reduced fever, and I know acetaminophen reduces fever, and I go to my Walgreens and I'm looking at that pain relief aisle, I'm going to skip the Tylenol and get the generic acetaminophen to reduce my fever because the president said specifically don't take Tylenol. So now you get two problems here. Number one, you're turning people against a particular brand. And number two, you're not solving the problem of averting the acetaminophen. You see where I'm going with this? Is you've now done both things wrong. The unintended consequence here is because it's now linked to Tylenol, you still have the opportunity to take the negative product if the product were negative.
So there are lots of layers of unintended consequence here. And for the listeners or viewers out there who've been keeping track of Tylenol stock, let me know what's happened in
Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, let me know what's happened in the last 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is a unlicensed individual practicing medicine without a license, even though he's the president, by standing up there. Now he gets the shielding of saying, look, I'm announcing what RFK is essentially putting out.
Yeah.
I'm president of the United States of America. I care about you women, you pregnant women. I care about all the pregnant ladies. I care about fighting autism. He gets that shielding, right? And the law seems to indicate, hey, he can't be held civilly liable. But we really haven't had this before. This is new. This is new. Is Johnson & Johnson going to be damaged as a result of this? Yes and no. Love it or hate it, there are people that are going to be like, screw you, Trump. I'm going to take Tylenol and double down on Tylenol, and their sales may skyrocket as a result of it.
What?
Yeah.
See,
defiance is a funny thing.
See, ivermectin, a drug that nobody ever talked about until somebody said don't take it, and then all of a sudden everyone wanted to take it. So
there is the issue of damage to Tylenol as a brand. There is a issue of all these generic companies. They are getting damaged to some degree because they're like, wait. We're not Tylenol, but we are pushing forth this medicine, and you're throwing out stuff without. It is fair to say that this has not been scientifically vetted to a level that I think we would all be more comfortable with.
Right.
Could it be that Tylenol actually does cause autism? I leave room for that possibility. Probably not, but I leave room for that possibility. We're just going to put genetics to the side. We can just put.
Sure. Why not?
All right. Now, by the way, the flip side of this is there are people that believe that vaccines do cause autism. There's a large population.
And that one study that said so can be debunked a million times, and people are still going to believe that.
Right. Is he potentially exposed to liability? If you're Johnson & Johnson, are you going to sue him over this? Probably not. You're just riding the wave. You're riding the wave, right?
Okay, well, what if the flip side is the government building a case against Johnson & Johnson?
Well, here's the other thing. What about the pregnant woman that doesn't take acetaminophen because of this and loses a baby? Or suffer? Because, again, I'm not a doctor, but from everything I'm seeing, pregnancy fevers and complications that go unaddressed, that can be treated by Tylenol or acetaminophen, those are real.
Right.
Again, Franz Borghardt, never rearing a child.
I understand that.
There's no part of a child coming out of my body ever.
Because you're a man. I understand
right.
That. Okay. But we have to walk down the path of for those that this affects. Now, recourse when it comes to this, I don't, because he's the president, I don't see any.
You'd have to sue him. So here's, again, the landscape is the Supreme Court has spoken on this. He's a sitting president. He's doing his job as president, whether we like the job he's doing or not. He's shielded. However, there is an argument, a straight-faced argument, and I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being funny, and I will concede at the jump. I'm a criminal defense attorney.
Right.
There's a straight-faced argument of maybe he went a little bit too far on this one. Prematurely, he went a little bit too far and acted in a way as if he were dispensing medical advice.
Yes. Now,
that we have not vetted, that we have not litigated, and that will be, and again, it's either going to be Johnson & Johnson or it's going to be somebody that has some kind of complication as a result of not taking it, whereas they wouldn't have had the complication. And I think that's the harder road, right? The easier road is, as a business, wait a minute, get your hand out of my pocket, dude.
when it comes to suing the president, I don't know that you could sue the man, but you can sue the government. You could sue the U.S.
I think
government.
that's the pathway is you sue the federal government, you sue
Which-
the FDA, or you sue RFK,
DHH.
and you bypass Trump completely, President Trump completely. Why bring him into the fray?
Right. Because he's the one who said it. But as the president, you're suing the office, not the man. And there are, by the way, incredibly difficult to sue the U.S. government, but not impossible. You have to follow a very narrow
Federal Tort Claim Act.
That's
yes,
the one.
Yes. See, I know a little bit about law.
That's a little bit. But the different areas for which you could sue, I mean, there's civil rights violations. There's negligence, which I think this would fall under that, wouldn't it?
Gross negligence, malpractice. And look, there's a large portion of society that's like, what if he would have said, hey, get off the couch and go exercise or maybe eat a salad?
Right.
People would be up in arms.
Oh, completely.
They'd be up in arms, no matter how factually true that is.
Right.
Maybe put the fork down. And look, I have a problem with my fork.
Mm-hmm.
I like to not put the fork down.
Same.
Been fighting that all my life.
Yep,
The struggle is real.
I get it.
But he didn't say that. And again, it's was he acting? He is the president. His word, despite how you feel about President Trump, his words, his commentary, his speeches to the American people, one way or another, move a needle.
Right.
If you hate him, are you going out to buy a whole bunch of Tylenol to support Johnson & Johnson? Unlikely. But if you love him, there are a whole bunch of people that are like me, never going to be pregnant, but may not buy Tylenol now.
Okay, can we flip this around for the last 3 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. I want to talk about suing the government as a whole, okay?
Okay.
Because it is so much harder to sue the U.S. government than, let's say that instead of the President of the United States, it was Joe Rogan on his podcast saying don't take Tylenol. Would it be easier for Johnson & Johnson to sue Joe Rogan?
It would be, but in the same breath, does Rogan have the same bandwidth? Yes, he has a massive following.
Massive following.
But if you listen to Joe Rogan for your medical advice, and look, there are supplements I take because Rogan's been pushing them.
Yeah. I want to try that BPC 157.
I do methylene blue.
Okay.
Big game changer.
Really?
Or it's a placebo.
Got to leave that up to that possibility.
Right.
But
right. So I think if Rogan or someone, are they an influencer? Yes. Could Tylenol sue him without the same kind of government red tape to sue him? Sure. Absolutely. I don't think it has the same force of an effect as Trump.
No, but my point is it's so much easier to sue Joe Rogan
Yeah.
than it is to sue the U.S. government. So I'm wondering if you can hide behind the curtain of I'm with the government, it's damn near impossible to sue me. Should it be easier to sue the government, or would that open the floodgates to where the government is doing nothing but fighting lawsuits all the time?
So immunity is a good thing. Difficulty in suing people, I know this is like the most tort reform thing I'm going to say.
But that's what I'm asking.
It's actually not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing to require people to have some protections if they're serving the government.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, to be fair, he is, whether you like his service or not, he is serving the government. Joe Rogan, private citizen, has a big voice, big platform. Private citizen says, hey, this stuff is really bad. Shouldn't take it. Johnson & Johnson, and let's be clear, Johnson & Johnson has the bandwidth to sue whoever it wants.
Right.
Financially.
Yes.
Now, the legal bandwidth to get to the finish line, does Johnson & Johnson want to take this all the way up to the Supreme Court and say, hey, no, the president should not be making what could arguably be construed as irresponsible comments and commentary that are not necessarily founded on sound, silent, well-vetted silence.
There you go.
Let's call it what it is. It could be true. It's just, I don't know that we have enough vetted studies yet. And one of the studies he's kind of playing with is from Harvard or Harvard Medical or whatever. I get it. No, they're no slouch. They're no slouch.
No, I understand that. I mean, it's, we had a scientist at Harvard saying that aliens were going to land on the planet recently.
I think the bigger problem, and one of your viewers, Troy, again, Troy's on fire today. Did that need to be
He's an attorney.
Yeah, I know. He's a good attorney. Did that need to be a White House announcement? If it's not a White House announcement, because it was packaged as cure to autism.
Right.
Let's not mince words. It was packaged, wrapped with a bow on it. We found a cure to autism.
So the pregnant woman does not take the Tylenol, still has a child on the spectrum. Now they've got a secondary complaint, another complaint. Yeah. So he's attorney Franz Borghardt. You got to get over on Court TV.
I
man.
do.
All right. We'll see you later, brother.
Bye.
Always appreciate the time. Here's your money now. Hey, we got a Superdome. All right. Good. They separated
There we
it.
go.
They separated it out. That's awesome.
Heck yeah, man.
Why are these not saving? There we go. About to send you 5 cuts.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, I seem to have saved twice. Cock-a-poo-poo, come on. Moon's in studio today.
Oh, yeah, true.
Check your email. You got 5 cuts from Jimmy Kimmel. 6:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got just a couple minutes till ABC News at the top of the hour. Hour 2 will be coming your way after that. I was texting with the missus during the break right there. She was reminiscing on, and it's been almost a decade now. Our youngest is 9 years old. It's been almost a decade now, but she was remembering that list of things you get from your doctor when you get pregnant is just so lengthy. And when you talk about, like, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't fish because of the mercury, like all of the things that are on there, like your options are very limited to begin with. Doing the background for that topic, I was like, I went and looked it up. When the announcement first came out, I'm like, oh, was acetaminophen one of those billions of things that Christy couldn't have? And no, it's the FDA and the CDC both say acetaminophen is like the safest over-the-counter fever reducer when it comes to for pregnant women specifically. So it's when you look at everything you can't do, ticking off something that you checking off something else on the list that you could do before. It's not the easiest thing. All right, Jimmy Kimmel was back at it last night. We're going to spend all of 2.5 minutes on this before we get your news at the top of the hour. I don't want to. I don't want to have a take on Jimmy Kimmel. It's just, I used to love him when he did the Man Show because it was so counterculture. It was thumbing your nose at the whole, like, at where we were headed, and it feels like he's gone from that to something completely different. So let's just get to the nuts and bolts of how things happened last night, because I know a lot of us don't stay up that late, for one thing. Or if you were up that late last night, maybe watching Ted Lasso like I was doing. I don't know. But Kimmel, first and foremost, was happy to be back.
If you're just joining us, we are preempting your regularly scheduled encore episode of Celebrity Family Feud to bring you this special report. I'm happy to be here tonight with you.
Okay. I will watch Celebrity Family Feud all day long. I can't get enough of Family Feud. He might have backed himself into a corner with that one, because if you give me the opportunity to watch Celebrity or regular Family Feud, either way, that is my guilty pleasure right there, is the Family Feud. And the Game Show Network just puts them one after another. One will end and the next one's ready to roll. And it's like, man, I'll watch Family Feud the same way I watch TikTok. I just keep them coming. Just keep them coming. I will give Jimmy Kimmel credit for this. We're going to go cut 2 next. A lot of Republicans spoke up on his behalf. And these are people that on a day-to-day basis he is making fun of in his monologues. These are people that on a day-to-day basis he has a certain level of disdain for. And he did give credit where credit was due last night.
I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects. Some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it.
That was we have 3 more cuts, and whether I get to them or not, I don't really. We hopefully will, but that was the one cut that I really, really wanted to make sure we played, because that's the biggest point of the overall conversation. When you back up to Charlie Kirk's assassination, and we're having the discussion here, and the discussion was being had everywhere, how do we get back around to having discourse together politely, discourse together where you could disagree without being disagreeable, discourse together where you don't hate the person sitting across from you, you disagree with them. And it's just that simple. Hopefully that one sentence right there is a game changer in regards to opening Jimmy Kimmel's eyes, and hopefully opening a number of people's eyes to say, you don't have to agree all the time. There is still more that unites us than divides us at the end of the day. One would hope. I'm looking at the clock, JP. I got you. All right, not enough time to get to any more of it, but Kimmel was back last night. He was on here in Baton Rouge, was not on in New Orleans. That's going to be an ongoing thing with the affiliates. Hour 2 is next.
Oh, so he wasn't on New Orleans.
Mm-mm.
Oof.
Good stuff. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. Where are we at to start off our second hour? We holding at 76. It felt muggy getting out of the house this morning. That was a couple hours ago, though. Yeah, we're holding at 76 in downtown Baton Rouge. We've got a busy hour this hour. On the hotline in our next segment, we're going to speak with Dr. John Doering. Sorry, that's a poor place to have a pause right there. Dr. John Doering from LSU. He's an assistant professor of environmental sciences. We are a month and 2 days removed from the explosion at Smitty's Supply in Tangipahoa Parish. There are still, and will be for some times, repercussions downriver. And not just in the water, but on the land as well. We'll get into all of it. And look, he's not specifically assigned to research Smitty's. We're just getting general knowledge from Dr. Doering about the, he studies environmental sciences. So if you want kind of the 10,000-foot view of how things are looking, are they going to get worse before they get better? What should we be on the lookout for? Are the seafood safe? Because the river flows into Lake Pontchartrain. We'll get into all of it with Dr. Doering coming up in our next segment. Also this hour, Will Green heads up LABI. Normally joins us on a Monday. Today, he will be on the hotline this week today at 7:35. We got a lot to talk about. LABI is actively seeking input from its members and from folks around the state, and that will be the topic of conversation there. Right now, top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Next month, Charlie Kirk's National College Tour will make a stop in Baton Rouge. This is the Turning Point Tour. We'll host an event at the Raising Cane's River Center Theater on Monday, October 27th. Governor Jeff Landry and conservative commentator Allie Beth Stuckey will be in attendance, along with a collection of prominent conservatives who are stepping in to serve as featured guests.
Number 4.
An autopsy for recently released Elaine Hunt inmate Traylon DeVille says he died of heat exposure. DeVille, who had a diagnosed mental health condition, was supposed to be released to a Baton Rouge group home. He was found lying in the road more than 80 miles away less than 24 hours after his release. The autopsy report said he had no drugs in his system other than the medication he was prescribed for his condition. Everything else was what led to the heat stroke diagnosis.
Number 3.
Louisiana will complete a major overhaul of its Natural Resources Agency on October 1st, with the Department of Energy and Natural Resources officially becoming the Department of Conservation and Energy. So it's restructuring the agency's 4 offices into 6 new divisions focused on permitting, enforcing, leasing, planning, and administration.
Number 2.
A federal judge presiding over the Middle District of the state ruled Monday that the city of Baton Rouge and Scott Wilson, in his official capacity as mayor pro tem, violated 2 citizens' First Amendment rights by not allowing them to speak about the death of Alton Sterling at a Metro Council meeting back in 2017. This is Eugene Collins, who is now with the NAACP, and Michael McClanahan, who was the NAACP Baton Rouge branch president. They were trying to speak at a Metro Council meeting about Alton Sterling. As events transpired, they were ultimately booted from the room for their efforts, as was, I believe, Gary Chambers that night as well.
Number 1.
We are looking at a very active tropics right now. Of course, you got Hurricane Gabrielle, not going to be a problem for anybody, no matter how much wind she blows around. She's out in the Atlantic and will stay that way. However, there are 2 other disturbances that are in the red. For those that don't follow, your disturbances go from yellow to orange to red. And disturbance number 1, shower and thunderstorm activity associated with an elongated area of low pressure located several hundred miles east of the Leeward Islands, continues to show signs of organization. It is at a 90% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 48 hours. Disturbance number 2 is at an 80% chance of formation over the next 7 days, 30% over the next 48 hours. This one's in the northeastern Caribbean Sea, producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. We are keeping our eyes on both of them. I've got it trending as well, so
yeah, well, you got
hit me up on the bed. No, let's do these first. We do these first.
Oh, okay. Well, Jimmy Kimmel was back on last night, though not all of his affiliates carried the show.
And we played a couple of sound bites in the last hour.
Yeah.
Probably won't play any more throughout the show because we got a lot of ground to cover. But
Yeah, we do.
I just,
Man.
I
I know.
know.
A lot to say.
Yeah,
A lot to say
first of
about
all,
it. Yeah.
I could take it or leave it if ABC chooses to fire him.
Yeah.
But it's based off of based off of performance, not based off of, we got to rewind the clock by like 30 some odd years. Okay.
Okay.
Bill Maher has become one of the most reasonable men on the planet now. Okay. He's always going to be a liberal, always going to be a Democrat.
Yep.
But he's become very, very reasonable in discussion, saying you can't blame the right for headed where they're headed because we're crazy on the left.
Yeah.
And he's a voice of reason in that regard.
Yeah.
Bill Maher, like 30 years ago, maybe a little bit less than that. It was, no, I'm sorry. Let me make sure I've got it right. It was in 2001.
Okay.
Maybe early 2002. Bill Maher got fired from a show called Politically Incorrect because he said something that was politically incorrect.
Right.
And I've always been a fan of there should be repercussions.
Yeah.
There should be repercussions, but at the same time, though, as a consumer of media, you should know what you're getting into. You should know what you're watching. If I'm watching a show called Politically Incorrect and they say something that offends me, that's what I dialed in for.
That's right.
If I'm watching Jimmy Kimmel Live, I don't know that's what I'm there for, right?
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, nearly 40 ABC stations.
Yeah.
Refused to air it. So, yeah. In other news, Donald Trump is pivoting on Ukraine. Now he says that they can regain all the territory they lost. So,
not really acting like a puppet, is he?
I mean,
That's flip side of that, though, is this war's going to last longer, isn't it?
sure.
Well,
Sure, this is what we're seeing. And keeping it with Trump, Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump on Trump's West Palm Beach golf course last year, was found guilty on all 5 counts on Tuesday.
and then tried to take himself out.
He did. He tried to kill himself with a pin, stab himself in the neck, Brian, with a pin.
Did he miss, or did he just like give up on the effort?
They said he was just kind of jabbing, but the cap was on. That's what it was. The cap was on.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
No.
But no, man. Yeah, it was a matter of seconds before, the bailiff struggled to.
All right, I've got one for you. You ready for this?
Yeah, I think
Per
so.
our news partners at WBRZ, Dateline New York, per the Associated Press, robot umpires are getting called up to the big leagues next season. Major League Baseball's 11-man competition committee on Tuesday approved the use of automated ball strike system in the major leagues for next year. Let's go.
What?
Let's go. Automated balls and strikes. That is huge.
Welcome to the future, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
When that movie Benchwarmers, when that robot in there? You remember that movie?
I
Rob
don't.
Schneider.
Yeah, I
John-
remember Rob. Oh.
Yeah, John Lovitz. They had a robot in there. I don't
Sure.
think
Why not?
Yeah, that's insane though, right? Like,
Yeah.
wow. So umpiring.
Human plate umpires will still call balls and strikes, but teams can challenge 2 calls per game and get additional appeals in extra innings. 2 seems low to me. 2 seems very low because they miss a lot more than 2 calls a game.
That's still.
Uh-huh.
That's
Love it.
impressive.
Absolutely love it. 713 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Quick break. Come back. We're going to talk with Dr. John Doering from LSU next.
Yeah, that's wild.
You need his number.
Yep. Do you want to tell it or send it?
Huh?
You want to tell it or send it?
I'm going to find it.
Oh, okay. Just let me know. I'll cut your mic.
Cut my mic.
Okay.
That's fine.
Hello, sir. Yes, this is JP with Brian Haldane. Hey, looking to have you on here in just another minute or so.
Rolling over to 716 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Okay, so a month and 2 days ago, there was a huge explosion at Smitty's Supply in Tangipahoa Parish, at Roseland, south of Amy, but north of Hammond, on the Tangipahoa River. And a month and 2 days later, it is still really, really bad down there. So I wanted to get more of a scientific look. We've had residents, we had Pat Mashburn, who lives along Tangipahoa River, on the show to talk about it because he's been, impacted himself. So want to get more of a scientific look at it. Welcoming Dr. John Doering into the show. He is an associate professor of environmental sciences at LSU. How are you, sir?
Hello. Good morning, and it's great to be here to answer some of your questions.
Awesome. Glad to have you on. I appreciate you getting up in the early morning hours with us this morning. So let's dive right in. When it comes to the explosion that was over a month ago, is there any way to gauge how long it's going to take before rivers look like they looked before the explosion? Like the Tangipahoa River is still very, very bad, very, very nasty. Is there a way to gauge, like, if the explosion was the only thing that got in the river, how long should it take to flush out?
That is a good question. And really the only way to know for sure is to be doing sampling. And it could be quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Your listeners are probably familiar with PFAS, which is a chemical used in the firefighting foam. And PFAS is known as a forever chemical, right? That's kind of the buzzword for it. And the reason is that it doesn't break down very readily in the environment. So sunlight, microbial action will not degrade these chemicals very readily. So they can last for, an extremely long time. But, I would say it's going to be, months before the river's looking how it did before. And, the impact on wildlife especially could last for significantly longer than that. So these chemicals will be absorbed by aquatic vegetation. They will be absorbed by fish, invertebrates, and they will also adhere to the sediment. So all the muck at the bottom of the river, they'll adhere there, and then these can be used as sources to remobilize these chemicals over time. So they can last, for years potentially.
I'm sorry, when you say remobilize these chemicals, that basically, I mean, what does that mean, remobilize? We're going to see them again in another like time and place?
So if they absorb into the sediments, for instance, so the muck at the bottom of the river, they'll slowly be released over time from that sediment potentially. So, the chemicals present, at least at, lower levels than now, could last for quite a while.
We're talking with Dr. John Doering about the explosion at Smitty's Supply in Roseland and the after effects of it. There's really a couple of different conversations to be had here, Dr. Doering. One of those is the immediate area around with all the folks who got all the soot all over their property and whatnot. I believe there's already lawsuits in motion on that front. When evaluating the stuff that's on land, because I want to get to the river part, I want to make sure most of our topic is on the river because I feel like there's so many more variables there. But when evaluating what's on land, that which fell back to the ground, I don't think that wouldn't have the firefighting foam in it, would it?
No, that would not be a concern.
It would just be byproducts of the oil that was there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So these firefighting foams are not really going to be an aerial thing where you're going to inhale it or it's going to, deposit on your property. Mm-hmm. It's purely going to be something that washed into the river.
So with the people that are around there, they pretty much know what their effects are. They pretty much know how much damage they've gotten because if you are on land around them, what you've gotten is all you're going to get. There shouldn't be more coming from Smitty's at this point.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, let's bring that back to the river because is there a way to know, like, if the EPA has the whole site shut down, if information is in a vacuum right now, which it really feels like it is, because the only information you get feels like, public relations type press releases, is there any way to know if what's in the river happened on the day of the explosion or what's in the river has happened since the explosion, meaning there's something still going on?
That would be a difficult thing to determine. I mean, the EPA is definitely doing sampling for these firefighting foams and other contaminants, the oil, metals, and they have detected them in the water.
Yeah.
And scientists at LSU are also doing independent sampling, and we are continuing to detect these firefighting foam chemicals in the water up until this week. So they're still there, and just logically, they must have come from the source of this fire. Although they are detected at small amounts upstream of the Smitty site, because these are chemicals that are used for many, many different things.
Mm-hmm.
So they're also used for all sorts of non-stick surfaces, paints, the wax on your car, all sorts of different things. There are very low levels in the river naturally from other sources, but the levels downstream of the Smitty's fire are much higher than is safe, or at least were in the weeks after this event.
Okay, and if there's anything, because you're not privy to the the inside of this investigation, I'm calling on you for your general expertise, not specifically about this. How does something get upriver?
So it's coming from another source that's upriver. So it could be a wastewater treatment plant, for instance.
Okay, so it's possible that Smitty's could catch blame for something that like, as bad as this explosion was, they could be catching blame downriver for things that weren't really their fault.
A very small degree, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But there's very trace levels upstream naturally occurring from a wastewater treatment plant, most likely.
Yeah.
And the levels that are downstream of the Smitty's fire are, many, many, many times higher.
We're talking with Dr. John Doering from LSU about the Smitty's explosion and the aftermath. All right, now let's pivot downriver. What folks are finding, and full disclosure, I have a friend that lives along the river. He's been taking samples every single day. They're gross. Thick black gook coming out of the water. The sheen is on top of the water. There is a natural want, if you're in that area, a natural want to believe that the natural flow of the river should have washed this away by now. What you're telling us is no. Patience is what's needed on that front. Is that about right?
That is exactly it. I don't want people to overreact to this, but it will take time. This is not something that's going to be, over in a week.
Right.
And it's probably going to be a few months, and it could be, a year before we fully understand, all of the impacts that this had on the river. But at the same time, I want people to understand that, a huge fire like this, it was the right choice for these first responders to use these chemicals to put out this fire, right? That was a very important thing that had to be done. And now that's over, and now we need to deal with kind of this side impact.
Oh, no, absolutely. Putting out the fire was mission critical. That was the number one job right there. What I think they're finding in the river, though, I guess it would have to be independently tested to determine whether or not it's oil that they're finding or if it's other chemical compounds that, appear the same when on top of the water.
Yeah, it'll be a mixture, definitely a mixture of oil, of these firefighting foams, some of the other petrochemicals that might have been at the plant, metals. So it's a mixture of different things for sure.
All right, let's pivot over to two bigger questions here. The first one is what's beneath that. When you talk about absorption, is there any significant chance? I know there's always a chance of anything. Is there any significant chance that this absorbs back into the ground to a point where it would affect the aquifer that's underneath them?
That seems highly unlikely. It would not, go extremely deep into the sediments, most likely.
Okay. The second part, when it comes to not just absorption, but when it gets downriver, this river flows into Lake Pontchartrain. Lake Pontchartrain, a huge source for seafood, and it's. I grew up eating the blue crabs out of Lake Pontchartrain before they cleaned the whole thing up. So, when you talk about going from a river to a lake, especially a lake that size, is there concern that this will have further effects downriver once it dumps into the lake?
It definitely could. So as far as the oil itself, It's my understanding that containment booms have been added to the river right before it enters the lake, and that will stop, the oil or anything on the surface. And a lot of the firefighting foam is also buoyant and will be on the surface. But some of the firefighting foam will dissipate into the water much more readily than the oil slick. So you will get some contamination into the lake for sure. And, there's probably going to be higher levels of these chemicals detected in the river for, some amount of time into the future, relative to if this event did not occur. And, as far as, eating crabs or eating fish, these chemicals are going to be very similar to, you've probably seen the advisories for mercury or PCBs.
Yeah.
So your top level predators are going to have the highest levels, most likely. So there might have to be some advisories for, your higher level predators, whereas your crabs, maybe not that big of a risk.
Okay. We've got just a couple minutes left with Dr. John Doering from LSU talking about the Tangipahoa River and the after effects. Dr. Doering, I'm going to grab one from a listener who's chiming in over on Facebook Live, asking about the farms and the cattle that are in that area. Are there secondary risks when it comes to livestock? I mean, just, there's general grazing and whatnot?
It's for the aerial emissions, possibly. But a lot of the chemicals that are deposited through the air are going to be rapidly metabolized and excreted, especially by mammals that have quite strong metabolisms. So, this is not going to be a persistent problem, I would not say.
All right. And the last one before we get you out of here, and that is, what should folks be doing? Like, is when you see, and it's all over my Facebook feed to be sure, because I got a friend down there, but when it comes to like independent sampling, I mean, are junior scientists welcome and encouraged here, or is it mucking up the works?
I guess it depends. So to get accurate sampling actually is, requires a lot of skill and knowledge, because you can very easily contaminate a sample,
right,
and then it's not of any use. But LSU is doing sampling, and if there is anything that we see that absolutely has to get out to the public, we will make sure that people are aware. And although we're seeing elevated levels, it's not at the point where we have to make some type of press release saying this is a massive problem. People have to avoid at all costs. But there are some things that precautions that people should be taking. Avoiding direct contact with that stretch of the river, including your pets. Not eating fish, especially higher level predators from the river. Remembering that fish can swim upstream if they want, or and they can move. And this isn't forever. This is give it a few months before we understand the full impact. And then the other thing, it's my understanding that no drinking water sources come from that part of the river. But if you are worried about your drinking water, any water filter with a activated carbon filter can remove PFAS. And, you can go to a retail store for $20 or $30, get a filter. There's no worries at all about your drinking water if you use that.
He is Dr. John Doering from LSU. Great insight. I really, really appreciate the time and the information, sir. Thank you so much for hopping on board.
No problem. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Good stuff right there. And it's, if you have this running in your backyard, flowing in your backyard, you're going to have a lot of cause for alarm. I've seen the pictures posted. We've talked to, the people involved, and there is a lot of cause for alarm. And the information vacuum does not help it. It exacerbates it. So I appreciate Dr. Doering for shedding a little light on what's going on. We are coming up on news, traffic, and weather for the bottom of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk with Will Green. They're all over the state right now, finding out what Louisiana is looking for and where the legislature should be headed. That continues next. right, I'm gonna give the new chair another try. See, I gotta keep working it in a little bit till I get used to it. All right. Everything about this chair I should like. I don't know why I don't. All right. Galen says lots of refrigerator water dispensers have activated charcoal filters. Yeah, and I don't know how to change mine. So that red light's going to stay on, damn it. Sorry, was that like that wasn't where you were headed with that. See, I like the foot rail that's on the bottom is too far down.
Oh.
So I can't rest my feet on it. So my feet are dangling like I'm a little kid at the bar, you know?
First world problems, man. They'll get you.
YouTube can be your friend. Damn it, why did I not think of that? Galen dropping knowledge. Yep, I saw him. Damn it. 737 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Normally, we get caught up with Will Green from LABI on Mondays. He was busy on Monday. That's understandable. And made himself available for today. So, Will, welcome back in. I appreciate your flexibility this week. How are you?
Brian, good morning. I'm doing well, man. How are you on this Wednesday?
I know. It's midway through the week. And no, I'm not doing bad at all. It's about to get over the hump, as they say. So let's start with rewinding the clock here, because during your I don't want to call them off seasons, but LABI is kind of seasonal during the leading up to the session, during the session, and then during election time. Y'all are just blowing and going. Can't keep up with yourselves, right? But times like this, y'all are not really having an off season, but more along the more appropriately said, you're in the information gathering season, correct?
Yeah, so I think that's probably a good way to put it. Obviously, we, go into our legislative sessions with a strategic plan on priorities that our member businesses, our local chambers and our board tell us that we need to prioritize to continue to move the state forward. We look at those priorities, we compare it to our program of work, and, we go down to the legislature and we fight for those measures each year. But really that work all that work starts around this time of year. And so, as you said, it really is kind of almost a 4-quarter year. And so the dust is settled on the legislative session. We released our scorecard that measures, each legislator's voting record, how they voted on priorities important to the business community. That's been released. We're going around the state right now, our regional rallies, meeting with legislators, meeting with local businesses, celebrating with our members the wins of the past legislative session, discussing with them where we need to go next. Also, celebrating with the legislators that in their districts have voted to make Louisiana a more competitive place to do business. And then we'll come back and we'll start our issue council process. And so, Brian, we talked about this before, but LABI, we're backed by a playbook, our program of work, and within our program of work is specific issue areas: energy, tax, education, environment, civil justice reform. And each one of these issues has their own issue council and policy lead. And so we're going to start meeting with our issue councils and looking at our programs of work, finding out if any tweaks need to be made, any updates need to be made. And so that's kind of what we're undertaking now. So as you said, there really is no off season. A lot of busy work right now, really strategically planning for the last quarter of 2025, and that'll build upon our priorities moving into 2026.
We are talking with Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. The regional rallies, let's dive in a little bit further here, because you've already got this is year 2 for the regional rallies, which the regional rallies were kind of the byproduct of which went into was originally LA 23 and then became LA driven. You're just gathering information at a ridiculous clip.
Yeah. So, again, this time of year is a lot of information gathering, strategic planning. And so we used to do what was called Business in Boots down in Baton Rouge, and we gather all our members up. We would gather all of our legislative champions together, and we would do kind of a informational event with our members and our legislative champions, give them awards. And we realized, as the state chamber, as a statewide business organization, we would really do better and be more informed if we got out in various communities and had those conversations. And so that turned into what has been our second year now of our regional rallies. And again, it's a way for us and the LABI team to get out, celebrate wins of the past session with our member businesses, meet what we hope will be new member businesses, celebrate the pro-business legislators in their district who voted to make Louisiana a more competitive place to do business, hopefully inform ourselves and inform my team on, what's going on up in Monroe tonight is where we'll be. Shreveport tomorrow night. We started in Baton Rouge. And again, it's all about information gathering, listening to our member businesses back in their region, listening to the legislators, now that they've had a few months to really kind of go back and really digest what they did this past session. And we take all that information, we bring it back. We discuss it with the board. We discuss it with our issue councils, and it really helps us be more informed as we go in and we prioritize what is going to be our legislative priorities for 2026.
How varied is the feedback from each portion of the state? I would imagine, and I don't see Lake Charles on here, but I would imagine the feedback from Lake Charles would be different than the feedback from Monroe. Like Lake Charles would be like making the most of the environment, the environment friendly for LNG, whereas in Monroe right now it's all about hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg. Like, is the feedback different from different portions of the state?
Yeah, look, that's what makes Louisiana such a great place, and that's why it is so important for us, the state chamber, to get out in these different regions. And I talk about it all the time. I'm grew up in Ruston, Louisiana, and I've lived in Baton Rouge for 18 years, and it's obvious that the challenges and the successes of Ruston are not necessarily the same challenges and successes and needs of Baton Rouge, right? And same with New Orleans and Lake Charles. We'll be in Lake Charles in a few weeks. We'll be in Lafayette in a few weeks. And, you go to Lafayette and you're right. I mean, it's very industrial and the needs are LNG heavy, port heavy, transportation, right? I mean, the bridge is always talked about. How do we get goods better in and out of the Lake Charles area? And then you go up to Monroe, and clearly it's traditionally ag, right? It's ag and timber, and then now with the data center, how do we get skill needs-based jobs into that area to fill the needs of the data center? And And so, look, it's what makes our state so exciting because we have such a rich and diverse community and talent pool. We were in New Orleans a couple weeks ago, and New Orleans is such a, hospitality and that's the backbone of that area. We talked with the hotel industry. We talked to Walt Leger down there at the convention center. And so, their needs aren't necessarily the same needs of Monroe, but again, it's what makes our state so great, and it's why, as the CEO of the State Chamber of Commerce, it's so important for me to get out in those communities and find out, what legislatively and what regulations do our communities need to continue to thrive and do business in Louisiana.
And the way that translates back into legislation, and I'm throwing out like not specific examples, but just 10,000-foot view examples is like if you work in LNG and you've got a fleet of vehicles, well, car insurance. Insuring those vehicles becomes very important. Or if you work a little bit further north and timber is your big thing, man, having those trucks on the road is very, very expensive. Meanwhile, when you've traditionally been ag and you're moving over to AI data centers, growing the workforce means more education-based legislation. So it starts with raw materials and is manufactured into the output for the next session.
Yeah, Brian, it's hard for me to go anywhere and insurance isn't a top priority.
Right.
And then you really hit the nail on the head there. Actually, it's right there behind it is education and having a trained workforce, people that can show up on time, soft skills. And so I'd be shocked if I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you exactly what's going to be our top priorities moving into 2026, but I would be shocked if, continuing to move forward on insurance reform to make Louisiana a more affordable place to do business in insurance, whether it's property and casualty, education, to make sure we have a trained workforce ready, whether that's through internships, right? Whether that's K-12, early childhood, those things my members continue to tell me are incredibly important. And so those two things are still top of mind. They're things we've worked on for years as the state chamber, but that we need to continue to work on as new and evolving industries come into Louisiana.
From year one to year two on these regional rallies, how has LABI been able to step up the game a little bit? I would imagine communication with local officials is paramount, but how have y'all been able to elevate not just the access to or the access to LABI members, but just the overall event? I mean, how have these risen?
Yeah, so we've talked with a lot of our local chambers, getting them involved, getting their buy-in. As the state chamber, obviously our local chambers are critical. They're boots on the ground in a lot of their local communities. We have great relationships with them. And so making sure that we let them know that we're coming, we want them to be a part of it. We want their voice. They helped us as we developed our strategic plan. They know the pulse of the community. And so, partnering with them, making sure they're there and they have a voice in these things and they have a voice in our advocacy efforts. Partnering with a lot of the local economic development groups are very important. Again, I mean, they're with us trying to attract and grow business, whether local or out-of-state companies to these areas. And so that's been important to us as we travel around the state as well.
We got about a minute left with Will Green from LABI. Can you give me, I want to leave insurance to the side and workforce to the side because those are always going to be the one and the two, right? But can you give me an example of what you may have heard in Covington that you didn't hear in Baton Rouge and vice versa?
Well, I mean, one of the other things we haven't talked about really is energy, right? I mean, energy is such an important topic right now, whether it's permitting or carbon capture. Energy is such a critical component to Louisiana's economic stance in this country, both domestically and globally. And so we've got to do a better job of attracting and growing that sector and new technologies and getting our permitting process more transparent, more efficient, not sending a message that we're running these businesses away, especially in the form of carbon capture, but that we are still one of 3 states that have primacy because we can do it well, safe, and in a manner that attracts and grows jobs for generations to come. And so energy is going to be another important, critical sector for job growth in Louisiana that we're really excited about as we travel the state.
Last one before we get you out of here. We got 30 seconds left with Will Green from LABI. These rallies are also a chance, I mean, from your end, just to say thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we've done a ton, right? We've passed over 50 or close to 50 legislative measures that are underneath our LA-driven strategic plan. And as a result, right, I mean, we're moving down in the 20s in our tax climate, 30s in education, no longer have 3 of the top 10 violent crime cities in the country. We're attracting billions of dollars in investment. And that's a result of a lot of hard work from legislators, our business community, speaking up and overcoming the status quo, being tired of being in last place. And so, again, it's our opportunity to go out and say thanks for standing up, standing out, and letting the legislators know that that Louisiana is poised for growth. And so you're absolutely right. It's a chance for us to meet with our members, celebrate, and say thank you.
It's all about collaboration. He's Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We'll talk to you Monday, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. We ran a little bit long right there. Blew right past. I don't care. We blew right past your money now. Coming back next on Talk 107.3. Do it. Okay. Yeah. I feel it's getting loose again, though. I got to figure it out. It 755 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks again to Will Green for hopping on board right there. Coming up in our next hour, we're going to talk with Metro Councilwoman Jenn Racca and Mason Batts from the mayor's office. We're going to talk about Thrive, EBR. Also next hour, looking forward to a fantastic conversation with NeuroJust. We got both a doctor and a patient going to be in with us, and very, very much looking forward to this. Teamed up with NeuroJust, and so far the partnership has been fantastic. If you suffer from anxiety or depression, you're going to want to be around at 835. They specialize in transcranial magnetic stimulation. It is FDA approved. It is non-invasive. There are no side effects. And if you have been therapy resistant thus far, NeuroJust is your answer. Very, 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 very much so. Check them out at neurojust.com. Before we get you right back in the news, got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. So, your boy learned how to use the rewards to actually cash in. I love telling you about Mathern's rewards because you earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. As long as you let them scan the barcode when you're checking out, it does all the math for you. Well, here's what I found out last week. Is not only does it do the math for you, but your rewards grow exponentially. So like when you first start using it, there's a certain amount of points that equal a certain amount of dollars. As those points continue to grow, the dollar amount grows proportionally with it. So as the numbers accumulate, the graph on this one is beautiful, right? As the numbers accumulate, that second line of the rewards starts to crisscross with it on an upward pattern, and it is fantastic. And I learned last week how to cash those rewards in, $10 at a time, $25 at a time, $50 at a time. If you've got the app, you know. If not, go get the app. What are you doing? Go get the app. The Mathern's Rewards app. Earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. And yes, unlike some programs out there, with Mathern's, the cash out is easy. Where's my coffee-riddled stack of notes for prep today? Yeah, I spilled coffee. I know. It's all over it. Today, you've heard this from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. Today is the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Rita's landfall over in Cameron Parish. Hurricane Rita was that 1-2 punch back in 2005 on the back end of what Hurricane Katrina did in New Orleans. Retired Major General John Basilica was the commander of Louisiana's National Guard storm operations in Louisiana. He says it was difficult handling that 1-2 punch. You had two storms basically at the same time.
There was a lot of anxiety associated with the people that were on the east part. Say, please don't take any of the resources that you have supporting us. But we did have to and reposition them in order to be ready for Rita.
Well, because Katrina made landfall, it was just shy of a month prior, right? It was August 29th versus September 24th. And Katrina killed hundreds, if not more than 1,000, leaving all kinds of people homeless because of the flooding, with the breaking of levees and whatnot. Meanwhile, Basilica says preparation for Rita, you had to have one eye, on the other side of the state, but you were still able to prep in spite of the circumstances.
Everybody seeing just how bad things can be with Katrina. When we talked about evacuation and we talked about people having to leave, everybody listened.
Because you had that fresh reminder. One of the biggest problems with getting people out of New Orleans for Katrina, their access to transportation was a part of it, but a bigger part of it was going year after year after year when you kept hearing, oh, this is going to be the big one, not since Betsy, not since Camille. The more you were told it was going to be a big storm and then it wasn't, they let their guard down. Guard was up 100% when it came to Rita because it was just on the heels of what was an absolutely terrible storm in Katrina, which meant only one person died from Rita. And that's not to say there weren't a ton of search and rescue operations.
The one advantage that we had was because of Katrina, we had asked for additional support from the other states, and we were getting it.
Which was very helpful as well. 8 o'clock, hour 3 is next. Oh, you want to see if Moon wants to check everything right now?
Yeah.
806, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Halliday, and rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. Hey, it's good right there. Coming in a little hot. Oh, man, what a busy hour we've got slated for you this hour. Metro Councilwoman Jenn Racca, Mason Batts from the mayor's office, stopping by in about 10 minutes from right now. We're going to talk a little bit about Thrive EBR. If I were to spend a lot of time on Thrive EBR over the next couple months, it'll be on your ballot in November, and there's a lot to sift through to make sure everything is understood. And there's a lot that we already rely on that if this thing doesn't cross the finish line, we're going to lose out on a lot. So we've got Jenn and Mason coming up in our next segment. Also this hour, the folks from NeuroJust are stopping by. Very much looking forward to this conversation. We're going to talk with both a doctor and a patient. And y'all know what a fan I am of NeuroJust. And if you suffer from anxiety or depression, you'll need to be dialed in on this one as well. Right now, though, before we get to anything else, we get to this day in history. All right, JP, what you got?
All right. We're going to start off in 1952.
Okay.
Now, I know a lot happened before then.
One would hope.
But 1952, KFC opens its first franchise in Salt Lake City.
No kidding.
In Utah, after Colonel Sanders franchises his recipe to friend Pete Herman.
Pete Herman?
Pete Herman.
Okay.
1957, Jailhouse Rock, a single released by Elvis Presley, is released today as well. Of course, it is the Billboard Song of the Year of 1957.
Very cool.
1968, 60 Minutes premieres on CBS.
Okay.
So that was the start of it, yeah, 1968. Let's see, 20 years later, James Brown led police in an hour-long two-state car chase starting in Augusta, Georgia. Brown was later arrested and eventually served 6 years for a variety of charges, including carrying a deadly weapon at a public gathering, attempting to flee police, and driving under the influence of drugs.
Okay.
Man, what a chase, huh?
Yeah.
1991, Nirvana releases their second album, Nevermind, as well.
Always forget that's their second album.
Yeah. Bleach was their first one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of music, this is insane. 1997, Barry Lukatis was convinced of shooting and killing 2 pupils and a teacher at a school in Washington. His defense team claimed he had copied scenes from Pearl Jam's video for Jeremy.
Really?
That's insane, where art kind of meets. Oof, man. It's insane. Of course, 2005, Hurricane Rita makes landfall in the United States.
Covered that, yep.
Yes, devastating Beaumont, Texas, and portions of southwestern Louisiana. 2015, Pope Francis becomes the first pope to address the U.S. Congress. Names Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Thomas Merton, and Dorothy Day as his American heroes.
Okay, very cool.
Anything else on this day?
I got a couple.
Yeah.
I got a couple. This day in, let me make sure I'm going. This day in 1934, Babe Ruth played his last game.
Oh, okay.
Yep. This day in, where did it go? Ahead. And there we go. This day in 1957, federal troops were sent into Little Rock, Arkansas. This was part of desegregation.
Okay.
The racial desegregation in Little Rock, Arkansas. Federal troops were dispatched to maintain order and enforce the right of black students to attend the local public high school.
Wow. Anything else on this day?
Nope, it's all birthdays.
Birthdays. F. Scott Fitzgerald. We'll start there.
What did Scott Fitzgerald ever do to you?
Right. Jim Henson.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Hartman as well today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Kevin Sorbo as well today.
Okay.
Anybody else on your end?
I got Kyle Turley, former New Orleans Saint.
Okay.
Yo.
Yeah. That's what's up. Also, astronaut John Young. Apparently the 9th person to walk on the moon.
Okay. I mean, at that point, do they still count?
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to deaths here.
Sure.
Dr. Seuss, Theodore Geisler himself. Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see. Actor Bill Nunn.
Never heard of him.
I never heard of him either, to be honest with you. He doesn't even have film credits. It just says actor.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else on urine?
Oh, so I'm sorry, I missed the birthday.
Okay.
Mean Joe Green.
Okay.
Joe Green was born on this day in 1946. And as far as deaths would be concerned, all I had was Johann Strauss, the composer.
Johann. A lot of Johanns out there become composers.
Yeah.
Or at least the second one. All right. What are we doing for days today?
Do you have a good one? I don't really have a good one.
Our Lady of Mercy Day?
Is it now?
It's Yep.
Okay. Well, then I guess we're rolling with that. Yeah.
That beats National Cherries Jubilee Day.
Yes, it very much does. It because Cherries Jubilee Day was the one that I had that I didn't think was very good. So Our Lady of Mercy Day. That's we'll roll with that one. It's 8:12 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take a break, I want to remind you about the folks over at Breck. Breck.org is their home base. Breck.org is where you're going to go if you need to. Well, it's not too soon to start thinking about the Thanksgiving week camps and the holiday camps. They've got them at Breck. Breck.org is going to be your home base for this. What are you doing with the kids once they're out of school for Thanksgiving or once they're out of school for the Christmas break? They've got great camps at Breck. They run them all summer long, but when it comes to the holidays, that could be that easy reprieve, that easy answer where, well, the kids are out of school, not old enough to stay home alone, and obviously you don't want to reroute your whole work plan. So what are you doing with them there? Well, a couple of days worth of camp over at Breck, it could be your answer. While you're at Breck.org, whatever it is you're into recreationally, they've got something for you. They have an outlet for you. Whether you're talking about adult sports leagues, whether you're talking about leisure classes, check out all the different offerings they have. They're available at Breck.org. Talk at Thrive EBR next. What's happening? Good morning. Doing well. I think so.
You're so off.
We got plenty of. Anything specific for today? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, we got Dwight's perspective yesterday.
Oh, good.
Good.
And he's on board.
I think Mayor Evans wants to come on as well.
Really?
Yes, to give you his very good perspective.
No, it's
Yeah.
it is a fun time when Wade gets in here.
Can only imagine.
Yeah, I have zero control.
That's fun.
No telling.
Oh shoot! Look, y'all texted me. I'm sorry.
Well, you have a new door. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Well, and I'm able to open it from my phone, but I got to see the text first.
Oh,
so.
all I had to do was push the button and it opened.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, I didn't. I didn't even see your text.
Somebody let all of us in.
Well, there's a camera out there. Judy at the front desk might have done it. Oh, my goodness gracious. I need 30 seconds before we dive back in.
Okay.
All right. Bill Nunn was born today or died today? Died today. Okay.
Bill Nye?
Nunn.
Oh, I was about to say, whoa.
No, we just did it in this day.
That's groundbreaking.
A hero. Yeah.
$8:16, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Before we dive in on Thrive EBR, before we welcome in Metro Councilwoman Jenn Racca and Mason Batts from the mayor's office, got to go back to the last segment. It was This Day in History. Got to give a shout out to Trey Godfrey from the Baton Rouge Area Chamber because you said Bill Nunn, JP, you said Bill Nunn died on this day in 2016, right?
Yes.
And we were wondering who he was. Okay. Remember the movie Sister Act?
Okay.
The cop who put Whoopi Goldberg in hiding? The cop who hit her?
Okay.
He was
All
the
right.
cop. He was the cop. He's been in all the Spider-Man movies. He's been he's got an IMDb page that is unbelievably long. But that was the first place. Once I saw his face, I recognized him immediately. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
good stuff.
cop from Sister Act. Put a button on that one.
Like that.
All right. It is time to talk Thrive EBR. How are y'all this morning? Mason, Jen, how you doing?
Doing well, Brian. How are you?
Doing very well. Jen, you good?
Great.
Well, you don't have her on.
She's on.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm
there,
great.
There you are. Awesome. We're covering Thrive EBR, hopefully from every angle possible before November rolls around, because I feel like there's a lot of. I don't want to leave any room for things to slip through the cracks as far as the understanding of what this proposal does. So I appreciate y'all coming in. Mason, if you don't mind, I'm going to lead with Jen right here.
Go right ahead.
I want her perspective from the Metro Councils, and you're not speaking on behalf of the whole Metro Council, just on behalf of yourself as a Metro Council member.
Sure.
Your takeaways and your thoughts on Thrive EBR are what?
So let me just start with, I'm not speaking on behalf of the whole council.
Right.
But the whole council spoke on behalf of Thrive when we unanimously stood together alongside the mayor and the taxable entities, the mosquito abatement, the Council on Aging, the library. We all stood as one to say that we supported this and wanted this to move forward.
Why did you all stand in one and wanted to move forward?
Well, do you want to get in the history of it, or do you want me to just give you the simple explanation?
We can walk down the historical path a little
Sure.
bit, because there's room for that in this conversation.
Okay, great. So prior to this mayor being elected in late 2024, we understood that we needed to make some changes. We didn't quite know what those changes were. We didn't have an idea of what those numbers were exactly, but another council member and I began working on a rededication of tax plan.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that as a really good option of taking some of the surplus tax dollars that had been taken from the citizens and been housed to move those around to potentially fill some gaps and holes that we saw upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
We began working on that. This mayor's team came in. They had their own plan. We weren't really communicating as well as we are now at that point in time. He launched his plan. That didn't really go according to their plan and didn't resonate with the public that well. But we all sat together after that. There were 6 council members that went to the mayor and said, hey, we've been working on something. Let's look at it all together and show you what it is. We understand that we have issues coming up with the budget. Let's get together and let's find a way that we can move forward as a team. And so that's how we got here.
Now, the whole putting it together piece of this, you had to have other players involved as well, because when you talk about rededicating taxes, the voters did go to the polls to put those taxes in the direction they were headed. So undoing that is not the easiest piece out there.
Nope, and it's the people's choice. The voters go to the polls. They ultimately decide whether or not this is the plan for them.
Mm-hmm. But one of the important parts here, and this is the one that I'll probably be repeating every day, I'll be saying in my sleep before it's all said and done, is that we've already voted on these taxes. Taxes aren't going up as a result of this. There is no millage in here that we haven't already said yes to.
Correct.
So within that same vein, if we collectively say no to this, we are undoing a lot of the great work that's already been done. That's the part that I think things can get lost in the wash, is Thrive EBR is a better way to spend the dollars we've already approved.
Correct. So it's already taxpayer dollars. A large portion of this is already taxpayer dollars that have been taken from taxpayers.
Right.
When you turn over your property tax bill, go look at your property tax bill. We've talked about this so many times.
Yes.
Look and see how much you're paying for CATS, for BREC, for Council on Aging, for those millages are what we're talking about. Those dollars that you're paying year over year, those dollars were given to these entities. Let's take the library, for example. Excellent stewards of taxpayer dollars. They have housed millions of taxpayer dollars into an account. They have not spent their surplus.
Mm-hmm.
It accrues year over year. They've had 10-year plans where they have developed new libraries. They have maintained the current libraries that they have. I believe that there are 15 libraries in 12 different districts, okay? So they have been excellent stewards of taxpayer dollars. They've done all of that, and they've also, while doing that, have accrued a significant surplus of funds. I think that it is when we were looking at it, it was somewhere around 130 million, but I think that number has climbed because you get interest on those dollars.
Right.
And it's closer to 150 million dollars.
Not quite 150, but about 144, 145 million.
Oh, wow.
So those dollars are housed. Those are our dollars that we've dedicated to the library, and they have been willing to say they're going to take a portion of those dollars and rededicate those dollars to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they can't do that by writing us a check.
Right.
They can only do that by the voters going in and supporting our initiative to move those dollars, to take those taxpayer dollars and move them into the general fund for the city parish.
Now, when it comes to, and
Mason.
the library is the biggest player in this. So when it comes to rededicating library dollars, when we first went to the polls for the library, there was a lot of building that had to happen. Goodwood Branch, which came out awesome, by the way, such a gem. But the millages have remained while it doesn't cost as much to mop the floor as it does to build the building.
Yeah,
and I know I'm oversimplifying, and I'm doing so on purpose.
I have South Branch. South Branch is brand new over
Yeah.
by Rusahan.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. It's beautiful. We have walking paths that are going to go to it. We have sidewalks from Move BR construction in the past that have been planned, and we're just waiting on engineering that happened 2 or 3 years ago that you're gonna see crop up eventually. So yeah, that money was housed, that money was used properly, and now there's a surplus that can help our city.
And the library understands that. They had the foresight to be willing to get down to the negotiating table with us and say, look, we can do without these funds. We can give you this money so that y'all can pay down the debt across the parish, because if y'all have problems, we're going to have problems. We still have to work together. They still use a lot of departments in the city parish. They can't purchase anything without going through our purchasing department. They can't hire anybody without going through our HR department. So these are things that by taking this money and using it to pay down long-term debt that we have on the books, about $52.4 million, will allow us to pay off all of the debt in the general fund.
Wow.
So this is not a temporary fix, but a permanent solution.
Paying down all the debt in the general fund, what does that mean long-term? Because that's where we really talk about freeing up cash.
Well, that frees up about $9.6 million a year for us,
right,
in the long term, and saves us several $1 million worth of interest payments over the next several years that it would take to eventually pay that off. So that's what it gives us, the ability to be financially free from a lot of these circumstances. And when I say debt-free, we there are other debts, but those are paid for, like let's Move BR, for example, with dedicated tax dollars.
Right.
Debt in the general fund has no money dedicated to it, so we have to use general fund dollars to pay that debt. If we can pay that debt off, we don't have to worry about that anymore, and we can use those taxpayer dollars, for services for the citizens of the parish.
We got Metro Councilwoman Jenn Racca and Mason Batts from the mayor's office in with us, talk about Thrive EBR. Jen, one of the questions I've asked in the mayor's office before, and I think it's an even better question for someone on the Metro Council, is when it comes to these three, the three entities that between the library, the Council on Aging, and mosquito abatement, why those three? Because there are other entities out there, and I already know the answer to the question, but I ask it anyway just to make sure it's properly explained. Why those three and not, say, CATS or BREC or anything else?
We don't have control over CATS or BREC.
Right.
Those are the ones under the city parish umbrella. It's
So,
a simple answer.
Yeah, it is. But give us who does have control over that?
I'll let Mason answer.
The state has control. Both of those were created by the state a long time ago. In the case of BREC in the 1940s, so they have the ultimate control over BREC. We do have some appointments to those boards, but we don't control the taxpayer dollars or anything like that, like we do the other agencies.
One of my favorite parts about this came from mosquito abatement, because the library having the biggest number behind it was going to be, like, I don't want to say target number one, but like the library was the one that was going to garner the biggest headline because it has the biggest number. Council on Aging, they get in this game as well, and then mosquito abatement just like jumped in and said we can share too. From a Metro Council person's standpoint, what is that takeaway like to see everyone rowing together in the same direction?
I think I'm a pessimist, so I think they understand how dire it's going to be if Thrive doesn't pass.
Okay.
So I think you have people jumping on board because they know what it's going to look like if this doesn't go forward.
Well, see, Brian, I'm an optimist. That's why
See,
me and Jen
that's
go
what-
so well together.
yeah.
I just think they wanted to come along and be good partners with the city and say, look, we have this extra money and we can make it too, but maybe you can choose Jen's point of view.
So where I was going with that, and this might have just, I mean, maybe I didn't ask the question the right way, but there is a sense that, I'm not saying this ambiguously, I have a sense that since we've had a change in the administration, there is a definite feeling of we all have an opportunity to be a part of a solution instead of being told constantly that we're part of the problem.
I would agree with
Crickets,
that.
awesome.
Well, I can't comment. I mean, you're trying to give me some sort of
No,
compliment. I
no.
can't comment on that.
I don't know if that is something that like is perceived from the outside in, or if that's felt on the inside as well.
I definitely think you've seen a lot of people be willing to come forward. I mean, whether that's the case of private business owners wanting to come forward and help us tear down blighted houses, or different outside agencies in government being willing to come in and say, hey, look, take this surplus money. We're willing to give it to you so that you can pay down this debt. And one thing we also need to mention is these are renewals for these agencies as well.
100%.
So we're rededicating some money from those. We're also renewing money for these agencies so that they can continue to do good work in the parish.
And if I can add to that, I can personally attest from witnessing, not speaking on behalf of, but witnessing the council, Democrat, Republican, black, white, there's a revolving door into the mayor's office in an attempt to make them successful, to help them move forward with this new administration so the entire city and parish benefit from what we're doing currently right now. And that has been a tremendous change from previous councils, from folks that sit together and they're constantly bickering or fighting. This council has shown to me, just personally witnessing just this wonderful unanimous support for this mayor and seeing him move forward and doing the right thing for the people of our parish. It's been great. I think Mason can attest to that. It's to see the collaboration amongst the parties, amongst the races. It's been really great. I know it sounds like rainbows and sunshine, but I think he can personally say that everyone has made a commitment to seeing us move forward in a positive way.
And yes, and this isn't going to solve all of our problems all at once. But, Jen, you've been on the show so many times, just like figuratively speaking, digging through couch cushions, looking for every coin you could find.
Correct.
This is a pretty big coin.
Yes, it is.
So while this won't solve all of our problems, it's a huge assist along the way. If we could, we got 2 minutes left. Can we talk about the danger of this not passing? What would go away if this doesn't pass? What it would look like?
There's one thing that I think we really need to say.
Go for it.
I think it's very important. Our bond attorney decided how these things would be placed on the ballot. And so whenever you go to the ballot, you're not going to see Thrive, right, Mason?
That's right.
There's no Thrive written anywhere. So we don't want voters to be confused. It's not going to say vote for Thrive 1, 2, and 3. It's going to talk about a rededication of taxes. So the voters need to understand that you're going to see those 3 line items, and we need everyone to vote yes.
That's right. And it'll get into, explaining this is for the library, but there's 3. One for the library, one for the Council on Aging, and one for mosquito.
Important, but very important point. This is what I talked about when I led this topic off, was that with so much involved in this and so much at stake, proper communication is unbelievable. That's the first time I realized it wasn't going to be on the ballot as Thrive, but you don't think about it in that terms. You think about, we're so in favor of Thrive that you don't want to be looking for that particular verbiage.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that is what we're asking. You see those 3 items, vote yes. We need you to vote yes.
The election, of course, is coming up in November, so we have plenty of time to continue this conversation. In the meanwhile, we're just straight up out of time for this particular segment. Mason Betts, Jenn, Racca, thank you all so much for hopping on board for a little bit.
Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
you for having us.
Always. Not going to be the last time, to be sure. Got to remind you about Talk 107.3 is your new home for Ken Trahan's original prep football report. Get live in-game updates, full statewide scoreboard, and check-ins with correspondents from every corner of the state. Friday nights this fall from 6 to 11 p.m. is Ken Trahan's original prep football report, presented locally by Dr. Pepper and the Harold Perkins Jr. Tuition Program on Talk 107.3. Time for us to get news, traffic, weather. We're talking with NeuroJust next. Thanks, Brian. Thank you all. Appreciate it. I never thought of that. It's not going to be listed as Thrive.
It's going to be Proposition 1. Yeah. Proposition 2.
I've had a lot of community meetings just with HOAs and like my crime prevention districts, and that's one of the first questions they ask.
Okay. Yeah, I just had to have them too because I just had to have them.
Clearance of.
Hello, test.
Right. Anything ever been labeled?
No.
Other than Proposition 1, 2, 3.
Well, because
You'll be able to hear me like this?
because this isn't new. This is a re-upping of the library, re-upping of Council on Aging. So, we don't have
Oh, you did.
Thrive
Okay.
library. Thrive
Check.
Council. Well, I know.
I know it's
Yeah. Um,
This is them, so they are receiving us, and we are sending to them. So we're good.
All we can do.
So if you switch that back for the next interview, you can. Okay. But we're good.
right?
We're going to.
You'll need a pod.
We're going to.
We can
No,
press
I'll
level
do it.
Monday.
Yeah.
Already know.
That's, you need to be.
I will be there.
We have two options. Either
Kenny May gets up and starts shouting.
Yeah. Just like move it to
Zach's
so.
gonna have to tell
And whichever one he says.
Maybe I need to bring more than audio.
Zach's gonna tackle in a sexual way.
Stop it.
So nothing will
Bad
know
dog.
this will affect them.
Infrastructure.
Just leave that connected.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a solution not one time.
It's Mad Dog 2020. That's their sentence.
Yeah.
That's their solution.
Hey Brian, send me. I know we gotta. I know you're.
Yeah.
Send me just like availability for Brendan and Callie and how you want to disseminate that. I've got an idea though.
Let's talk tomorrow. Because I got Rotary after that. I'm like jam packed
Just
through
buzz me
Rotary.
in the morning.
So we'll do.
All right.
We'll do. Come on in, y'all.
You'll be back on too?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Where would you like me?
Here and here. Let's get y'all
Okay.
both in here.
Thank you.
And
How y'all doing?
Hey, good morning. Where y'all want me?
Right here.
right here.
All right.
I'm Tracy.
Oh, all right, Miss Tracy. You're A-C-Y?
IE.
And last name?
Ketchens, Ketchens.
All right, thank you.
And I'm Carter LeBlanc. I'm the clinic director at NeuroJust in Baton Rouge. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Happy anniversary, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yesterday, right?
Day before.
Day before.
Day before.
Okay.
We spent our anniversary watching 8th grade girls basketball.
Okay.
Snuck out the night before to go hit go get a steak, but
That's real life.
spent the actual anniversary at
Yeah.
Mercy's gym.
Yes.
And yes, I'm going to do the total dad thing here
I love it.
because I can't help myself.
I can hear, I didn't hear him specifically.
Bam.
I can hear the feed.
That's the dog.
String music.
That's the middle child.
I love it.
Doesn't follow her shot because she knows it's going in.
Yeah, we did. I could hear the.
Now,
I could hear
sadly, we lost to St.
Okay,
George,
we're good.
but we'll play St. George 15 times this year. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Catholic League, right?
Yeah, well, because Catholic League, we play girls basketball during football season. Otherwise, you wouldn't get any gym time because there's so many boys that play basketball.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like
That makes sense.
Parkview and Dunham
Yeah.
and all them, they'll play during the regular basketball season and all the public schools and whatnot. We only play during football season, so we only play amongst ourselves. So
Yeah.
it's St. George, St. Jude, St. Thomas More, St. Jean Vianney.
Yeah.
We're out in Gonzales tonight for St. Teresa. So
Okay.
yeah.
Kind of a nerd when it comes to all that stuff.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So Carter and I talked a little bit. Where do you want to start?
Well, the beginning, I guess, of what made me come to TMS.
Okay.
And I don't know what all you've told him, so.
Yeah. He knows some general
Okay.
context of what you went through.
Right.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
my daughter was killed in July of 24, and she was killed so tragically. She went to spend the night with a friend. Their house caught on fire, and everybody died except for one child who came out the window, and she was 15. I just don't want to make that a long
Yeah.
part.
I think what she wants to do is she wants to talk about why she got depressed, what she tried to get relief, what her experience was like at NeuroJust, and how she's doing now. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And if you can prompt me on those, it'll help me. I don't think I'll get nervous, but I do lose my words.
Okay, we got you covered.
I got you.
Are we still testing for Moon Show or?
Oh, no, we're
Because
about
I
to
got
go.
all right. So we have until 8:50. And if we need to spill over into the last segment, I'm more than happy to blow that out if
Okay.
if we have to.
Yeah.
I think we could tell the whole story here in
I love
13
it.
minutes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
of the story do you want me to tell?
As much as you're comfortable telling.
Okay.
That's if we start to run short on time, I know how to guide it, but I want you to. It's the story of the why is important to how you got where you, is because obviously that wasn't NeuroJust wasn't the first route you chose.
No.
Right.
I'll
That's an important part of the conversation because that's the part from marketing standpoint. That's the part that I don't think everybody understands yet is why what they do is different.
Right.
So, and just the introductory phases of it. Yeah.
Ketchens, Tracy Ketchens.
837 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Complete pivot here. We go from talking about what's on your ballot in November to talking about what's between your ears. Look, y'all know about the partnership we have that I have with the folks over at NeuroJust. So every so often, I like to broaden out the story a little bit. I mean, there's only so much I can tell you in 60 seconds. So want to welcome to the studio Carter LeBlanc from NeuroJust and Tracy Ketchens, who is a patient at NeuroJust. Welcome. Bring that one way up closer to you.
Okay.
There we go. Welcome aboard. How y'all doing this morning?
Good morning.
We're great.
Glad to have you all in here. Carter, I appreciate you coming in. Saying about you. It's,
I agree.
You're here to kind of fill in the gaps where we need technical information, but I'm here for Tracy's story today.
I love it.
So Tracy, as I know this is gonna be tough because when you're talking about anxiety and depression, there are sources of it.
Right.
And digging into those sources, it can hurt a little bit all over again. So I want you to tell your story as much as you're comfortable telling.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you guys the story about what brought me to NeuroJust and my journey to get there. It started 420 days ago. Our daughter was taken from us tragically. She was 16, and she went to spend the night with some friends, and a night of fun led to the house catching on fire where they were asleep. And everybody perished in the home but one child, and she got out the window. And my daughter was one of the kids that passed away. She didn't survive that fire. So this threw me into a deep depression, anxiety, PTSD, nightmares that were crippling. And so I'm doing psychiatry. I'm talking to my psychiatrist and my therapist. And they're talking to me twice a week. You know, they're just trying to keep me in between the ditches because I was struggling. I basically went to bed for 10 months and didn't get out of bed. I didn't bathe. I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't cook for my kids. I didn't function. Right. I couldn't get past the fact my daughter was gone, and how am I going to raise the rest my children? How am I going to get these kids raised? So I had enough fight in me to start searching for alternative therapy because the medication wasn't working. The nightmares was horrific to the point that I did a 5-day stay at St. Clair's to get on medication to stop the nightmares. My nightmares would freeze me in my bed, and I couldn't get up for the whole day. I would stay frozen in the bed.
I want to talk just a little bit about some of that therapy along the way, because part of this with NeuroJust and part of this when you're battling anxiety and depression is just the level of exhaustion that's in there. I don't think it can properly be, words can't describe how exhausted you must have been during that time, because it is constant. You cannot escape your own brain.
No. The amount of pain and the grief is so intense, and you just wait for a minute that you're going to have some relief, you know, and every now and then you get a little bit of relief. But I knew I just couldn't live in this fight or flight mode that I was in. I knew I had to do something aggressive or I wasn't going to be here for my children.
Which is another very important part of the conversation. So do you mind if we dig in a little bit? And I'm not here to bash traditional forms of therapy. I'm not here to bash the prescription meds. They all serve their purpose and their role. But within, if you don't mind sharing this, like what was it about the, sitting down with a therapist that was, are you able to quantify what wasn't clicking?
Well, it's, you can only talk so much, and I just wasn't getting relief from the talk therapy.
Right.
And I found that my medication, I feel like it was resistant to my depression,
Yeah.
And so I had to do research. And so luckily I was on Facebook and I seen TMS and I started studying it. And I'm like, this might be for me. So I filled out the little questionnaire.
Right.
And before I know it, they're on the phone with me,
And Carter, we are going to bring you in on for this right now. Tracy's story is unique, means one of a kind, but it's definitely a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
To be sure, and an extreme one as well. That's a level of loss that triggers so much. But is her story in terms of like I tried the talk therapy thing. I tried the numbing of the pills and whatnot. Is that about the par for what gets people through the door with y'all?
Absolutely. Tracy's pain is uniquely tragic. And I remember the first time we met and my heart was hurting after the consult hearing your story. So on one level, it's very unique. But on another level, she's our typical patient.
Right.
Our typical patient has tried a lot of talk therapy, which, by the way, we're great fans of talk therapy.
Absolutely.
We love it. And we love the great therapists that are in our community. They've tried medication. Medication helps a lot of people. But when you've tried a lot of therapy, a lot of medication, that's when the mental health world considers you treatment resistant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you do need to look at other options, such as what we offer at NeuroJust.
Let's go back to Tracy real quick. So you found NeuroJust on Facebook.
Yes.
You looked them up, and what did it take to cross that hump? Because when you talk about the traditional methods, when going to something that wouldn't be considered traditional, was there a level of fear or trepidation? Was there any hesitancy to cross that threshold?
Not for me.
Okay.
Because I was at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I had read the results and the numbers, and I knew that this was non-invasive, and I prayed over it, and I just knew it was the right thing for me, and everything just went smooth. And I went in for my consultation. Next, I was in getting fitted for my little cap.
Right.
And within a week, I started door dashing.
No kidding.
I started door dashing.
How many sessions were in that week?
I probably did about 7.
Okay, so you were basically going every day?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to get some nuts and bolts of this,
Okay.
all right,
Okay.
from a patient's perspective. Is you go in for how long is individual treatment?
25 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most patients, it's 10
All right.
to 20 minutes.
10 to 20 minutes. And within that, I've got to ask the stupid questions. So you put the hat on your head, right?
He puts the hat
Well,
on.
okay. He puts the hat on. We're doing this professionally. Absolutely. Puts the hat on. What's going through, first time it went on, what's going through your mind at that time?
What is this going to be like?
Mm-hmm.
They're strapping this little cap on my head and doing it under the little chin. Your seat reclines. You've got this beautiful big screen TV with all of this scenery. It's so relaxing. I didn't get nervous.
Okay.
I was ready for relief.
Right. That's an important part of it. Absolutely. Now, once it started, what did it feel like?
A little bit of tickling.
Okay.
It's like somebody just kind of tapping on your head.
Okay. See, Jordan had told me it feels like a TENS machine, which I love my TENS machine on my knee.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's ever used a TENS machine,
it's like that.
Okay.
It tickles like that.
Okay. So it's but in pulses, right?
Impulses, yes.
And once it was over, like, what did you feel immediately afterwards? Like, if after a week you were door dashing, when you walked out the first day, what was your takeaway?
It was just like I had just went in and it was just a session, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was quick, and I was in and out, you know.
What how long before you could tell the difference that it was going to stick?
Okay.
Like you could walk out and feel like, oh, that was new, that was different, but the long-term effects, how long before that started to kick in?
You don't notice it daily.
Right.
Okay. What one day you will notice, oh my God, I haven't had nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to take my nightmare medication. My nightmares have gone away. And when I tell you they were horrific nightmares, they were. And now I don't take that nightmare medication, and I sleep through the night.
How many treatments did you go through?
I did 36.
36.
Yes, sir.
So that spanned a little bit, over 2 months?
Over the summer.
Okay. And where you are now, and I don't want to go all the way back into the emotional, but where you are now, are you able to process better and talk about your child a little on a better
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, I'm functioning better. I pick the kids up from school. I study wildlife. I'm studying to get my small wildlife permit. I do possums and squirrels.
Okay.
And I have all kinds of animals at my house.
We got to hope that this isn't across the streams with DoorDash, but okay.
Yes.
Sorry. No, this is not for joking. But once you finish your 36 sessions,
right?
The longevity of the effects of this. I mean, do you still have time where you might feel like you need a refresh, or has it just stuck?
So far, it's stuck. You know, I feel like at some point I will have to go in for maintenance, and I look forward to that. I look forward to this being a tool in my bag of tricks that I can use for the rest of my life. You know, for my next 50 years, I want to be able to have this available to me, because I have suffered with depression since I was 14. And then you get older, you get the anxiety, the PTSD from life struggles and things. And you have to be able to come back. And TMS has given me that.
You dropped something on me when we have 1 minute to go. And so I tell you what, you just mentioned the anxiety and depression since 14. Mm-hmm. I think that's an important part of this conversation as well.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, we got Your Money Now coming your way in less than a minute from right now. We're about 30 seconds away from checking Your Money Now. We'll check traffic one more time. On the back end of the break, we were supposed to talk about Elise deal was struck for the Superdome. Hey, Elise deal was struck for the Superdome. We could dive into that more tomorrow. I want to keep y'all around for one more segment because that you just opened up something brand new that I believe needs exploration. So y'all sit tight. We'll take a break on air. Facebook Live, we're going to stick around through the break. In the meanwhile, Your Money Now is coming up right now. And like we said, we'll have one more check of traffic. Don't forget Moon's in studio about 10 minutes from right now, broadcasting from right here at Talk 107.3 FM. So do I have enough time? Okay. Then don't forget, go to talk1073.com to donate right now for Folds of Honor. We're teaming up with First American Bank and Trust to honor our military and raise funds for Folds of Honor. This is scholarships for the children of those who were wounded or disabled or killed in service. To donate to this important cause, visit talk1073.com. Here's Your Money Now. All right. Okay.
You're doing so great.
Am I? Okay, good.
You're being yourself.
That was absolutely amazing.
That was really great.
And I mean, we had a button pushed on it we were all nice and done. And then you mentioned about dialing it all the way back to 14.
I'm sorry.
No. This is for every piece of this conversation that opens up is another listener who says, "Oh shit, that's me."
And
So
I want to reach as many people as I can.
That's where we're at.
We've got to help other people.
Yeah. So
I think too, it's important for us to interject when appropriate. We take all insurances because in the mental health world, I mean, there's
so we'll walk down this path, and then we'll save the last 2 minutes for business.
Okay, sure.
And if you could just put in a little something about the youth. I've had so many of Josie's friends inquire about this treatment.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are kids struggling.
FDA approved for 15 and above.
That's it. And I mean, I think if kids hear us, they're going to want it too.
Sure. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Well, a lot of times people glaze over with data and all this information, but a story really is instructive on what something can do to impact your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're giving people. You're serving them by sharing your story, which is amazing. That's something people can relate to.
Yes, it's always it's because it gets personal. When it gets personal, it gets real.
Yeah, that's right.
And people identify with you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think of all the grieving parents. Every day I read on Facebook or the news that even these are adult kids passing away. And I'm like, that's somebody's child.
Yeah.
And I know this parent's about to go through the worst 365 days of their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I can't imagine.
Was this here in Baton Rouge?
It was there at their father's down the bayou, and it was at Raceland.
Raceland, okay.
Mm-hmm. It was in the who's the sheriff of Lafourche Parish. What's his name? I know him just as well. He says it was the worst fire in the history of Lafourche Parish.
Oh, wow.
It was,
Yeah.
the mom, the dad, the baby never woke up. They were in the same bed. The fire started outside with fireworks. Those kids picked up all the debris out of the yard after they shot fireworks. It was in July the 13th. And they put all the debris back in the trash can, pulled it under the carport.
Oh.
And about 1 in the morning, it started smoldering. And they could tell from the ring cams, this is after we got the fire marshal report, they could see flashbangs going off from the trash can. They couldn't see the house, but they could see the fire, and they would hear the noise. So they knew when the fire started. So the momentum started on the outside of the house. When it reached the inside of the house, it was full of oxygen. But my daughter and her friend woke up, and the little girl, the 15-year-old, went out the window. My daughter opened the bedroom door, and it exploded.
Oh.
And she ended up in the bathroom, and that's where she died. But her little friend, I'm scared she's going to have survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my oldest daughter, our 19-year-old, her daddy was out of town, and so she feels responsible.
Yep.
And it was hard. It's just been a horrible all the way around.
Yeah.
So if I hadn't have started TMS, I probably still wouldn't function. I've still got a ways to go.
Oh, I bet.
But this is definitely a game changer.
Right, but yeah, you've still got ways to go. But you're in a place where you realize it's a journey and you're not paralyzed.
I'm not.
That's all of it right there.
I do get stuck some days,
Of course.
but I mean, it's night and day difference. It really is.
Yeah.
And you see it more than I do.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember day one.
Yes.
It's like when I meet with people, I'm like, hey, I see these day ones, but I see the last day too when we're taking a picture with you and we're high-fiving you. So that's a great day.
Check in on the chat real quick, see if anybody on Facebook is.
Can I take a
Go ahead.
picture?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to get your thing in there.
The logo.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Let's hang on until after the
We'll
segment.
take a better one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
856 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes before we close out. Hand off to Moon Griffon. I wanted to keep Tracy and Carter in here with us. Tracy Ketchens is a patient over at NeuroJust, and of course, Carter LeBlanc is with NeuroJust. You mentioned something right before we went into break, Tracy, and we almost had a button on the story, and then you just completely unpacked something else. You had mentioned that once you started down this path with therapy, the floodgates were open. You suffered from anxiety as early as 14 years old?
Yes, sir.
So get right up on that mic.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So your story from the last segment had so much to process.
Right.
How did you take processing all of that history to where you realized this tragic event really just opened the floodgates of everything else as well? I know I'm hitting you with a tough one on the way out.
Yeah, that is tough. Could you repeat that?
So if you had suffered from anxiety, from
Right.
14 years old, the death of your daughter was, along with trying to process all of that and break out of the paralysis of that, the floodgates were open from everything else that had built up to that moment within your mind.
Right.
That's
a
a lot to unpack.
Yes, it was a lot, and it broke me.
Mm-hmm.
That broke me. You go through a depression from 14, and you treat it like a diabetes because you take such good care of your mental health.
Right.
And something so horrific happens that it just,
and the reason I wanted to follow up with that is because if there's someone out there who's listening right now who is able to compartmentalize so many things,
right?
There's only so many compartments up there.
There are only so many.
You don't want to be at a place where you are fully mentally paralyzed as a result of it. I'm not talking about physically paralyzed. I'm talking about mentally and emotionally being trapped within your own mind. Carter, I'm glad we are using this last segment because we didn't get down to business, man. NeuroJust, you're on Bluebonnet Boulevard. NeuroJust.com is the website. NeuroJust. Let's talk a little bit about the business end. Insurance?
Yeah, that's one thing I really want people to know because there's many outlets in the mental health world that don't accept insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But we accept all insurances. We accept Medicare, Medicaid. The VA sends us people, Blue Cross, United, whatever you got, we accept it. We have a great insurance department that fights to get you approved, gives you all the information you need. We make it easy.
And as far as follow-up, Tracy's all done with her 36. Yeah. Y'all clearly stay in touch.
We do.
Absolutely.
We do. We absolutely do. We definitely follow up with our doctors. We have a plan and a process for that. And look, our goal is not to make somebody a patient for life.
Right.
We want to treat them. We want to send them on their way. But some people do need to come back, about 30%, and our arms are wide open for those folks.
Absolutely. It's NeuroJust.com is the website. Carter LeBlanc, Tracy Ketchens, thank y'all so much for coming in, for sharing your story. I know that wasn't easy, but for sharing your story because there's important information within there. Thank y'all.
Thank you for
Brian.
having us.
All right, we're all done for today. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple is tomorrow. We've got we've got Breck. Janet Simmons is coming on tomorrow. Full slate, ready to roll. Stick around. Moon's next.
That was so
That was good.
Unbelievable.
You
stuff.
knocked it out of the park, lady.
Let's scooch our chairs over so we can get that.
Yes.
Oh.
Should I stand? What should I do?
I don't know.
Let's see here. Whoops.
There we go.
Good job.
I love it.
Love it.
Everyone's the perfect height for that
Well,
one.
now I'm so excited we got to meet all of you guys.
Thank you, Brian. Thank y'all so much.
It means a lot to
Appreciate you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Can we get one photo for the Instagram real quick?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Give me 30 seconds, Moon. Might take longer if they want a good photo, but if
Yeah.
you just want a photo.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
All right, let's get out of
All right,
way.
guys.
Here
Moon,
comes-
it was so
here
good to
comes
see
the
you.
fire.
I'm so glad I got to see you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Carter. Stay out of trouble.
Bring it.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
See y'all, man. Take care. Gotta get on that. I do. Barney's gonna stop by. What mic am I using? This one. I do have one guest coming by. Okay. give it my best, whatever that means.
I'll be across the hall for about 20 minutes and then get started on my Rotary stuff. We need a feature for today. Have you killed off the Facebook already?
Hey, Walker, can you hear me?